Hi everybody, my name is Barry. I will be your Dungeon Master over here at the Gilded Flask. Oh yes, and I will be joined by three wonderful people. Please introduce yourselves.
I am Anne. I play the unhinged haunted halfling, Carla Lilacat.
I'm Daniel. I play John Varenthal, the soon-to-be Oath of Midnight paladin, human paladin.
And I'm Marissa. I play Gasariel, the Asimar Twilight Cleric.
Oh yes. If you have never visited our place before, which by now I think most of you guys have been here at least once before, we post weekly recordings of our playthrough on YouTube. And if you're with us right now live on Twitch, then yay, hello. And yes, we also stream live on Twitch and have been for quite a little while. We're having fun. Other than that, we also have a podcast since a couple of weeks. Yes, all our 22 episodes now, coming on to 23 today, are available through your favorite podcast platform. So that will be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, whichever you want to use. We're there. Just look for the Gilded Flask and you can listen to us on the go. How cool is that? I think it's cool. All right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, and if you are over there, please give us a rating with 5 stars because that helps spread the word to more D&D fans. So if you are over there anyways, please consider giving us a rating. Thank you so much for that. We have a couple of wonderful people that we would like to shout out because they're great and they have been helping us out in creating such a cool series. And those are in no particular order: D. Chandra, James RPG Art, and DM Andy for the wonderful, wonderful maps and content and character art that we are using. They look so great, our characters. And DM Andy, James RPG Art, Pyram King, of course, for the maps and content there. Then we have Tabletop Audio, Scott Buckley, Phoenix Music, Alex Kazan, and Alexander Nakarada for the music that we have in the background, which just sets the vibe so well. And additionally, we want to thank a couple of new people. And those are Scarlet Feathers for making the awesome armor set that Daniel is now wearing. He so looks like John with the what are those called? The bracers, right? The shoulder pads.
The bracers, the pauldron, and the chest piece.
It's so beautiful. So thank you so much for making that. Yes. Awesome. It's absolutely beautiful. And as you might look at Marissa, she's also wearing something new. Oh yes, she's wearing a stunning chest piece made by Aconite Creations. Thank you so much for your creativity. It looks absolutely stunning. I love it. And with that, let's head into the tale.
Tell me, do you like ghost stories? I've been investigating people vanishing mysteriously into the night, never to return. It looks like I've found out where they've been.
Good evening. I don't like this place. The air feels heavier.
Did you hear that?
What do you mean he's watching?
In this place, nothing is what it seems.
We come from an ancient land. There's no time for this. What are you looking for?
This place has taken my father and my mother. It will not have me.
We gotta move, now.
Oh, I do love a good mystery.
Barovia is mine, and so are you.
Hello. I love that intro. Number 23. It's 23rd time I'm going to say this, yes, and I will repeat that until we get to 100 episodes. I don't care. That intro is absolutely amazing. Made by our very own Marissa or Casariel. You are so creative. Thank you so much for that. It's so cool to see it every single weekend. Love it. So, where are we? Where were we? Last week, you were recuperating from the fight with Dr. Daskalu, who died at your hands in his own manner. You looked through the rest of the manor to find the Vistani girl, the young Vistani girl that you were looking for in the first place. So you effectively rescued her and brought her back. And you found the treasure room guarded by a brain in a jar, which you had quite a tough fight with. More of a tough fight than I expected initially. But you got through without too much trouble, and you found the treasure room of Dr. Daskalu. Retrieving a couple of really cool items, part of which were a couple of diamonds, so Marissa can now finally cast her resurrection spells. There was a random wand that John likes.
A wand of crate removal and bird combustion.
Yeah, so far he's killed a bird with it and removed a crate with it. So, it's an interesting piece. And you find a little bag that has little fuzzy balls in it, and if you drop those on the floor, like a rhino appears or something.
I love that one. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's fun. And you found some gold. So with that, you decided to go back up, and you asked the flesh golem that was still around and just hanging about, I don't know, well, what now? You asked that flesh golem if he would please clean up the mansion for your return. So whenever you return to the mansion, you might have a cleaned up mansion. You might not. Who knows? We'll see. After that, you delivered the Vistani girl back to her camp, and you set out to the Wizard of Wines, as you got a very hefty clue that might be something that you want to go to. Besides, you also need to pick up some wine to go to Kresk, which is another thing that's still on your agenda. You ran into the Martikov family hiding out in the woods on the outskirts of the winery, as the winery is currently under attack from various creepy creatures, blights they call them, and they're sucking the winery dry of its natural energy and resources. And the Martikovs fear for their winery and have asked you to clear out the place. You've also learned that the Martikovs hold a deeper secret. For when you were talking with them, one of them flew in as a raven, and right before your eyes changed back into her human form, telling you that indeed the Martikovs have a little bit more to them than just a family. They indeed are people that can change into ravens. They've also told you that there is something going on pertaining a green gemstone, which the druids that are currently at the winery might also be looking for. So time is of the essence. And that is where we left off last week. So let's bring you into the winery. As you're moving past one of the wine fields here on the side, you see that on the back side of the building, there is a small wooden picket fence, if you will. And that sort of creates an inner courtyard behind the building. As you look around it, you notice that over there, more needle blights are definitely guarding any door. It almost seems like every door that they have seen is accompanied by a couple of these. Since you're still invisible, you're fine for now.
Okay. If using that bag of tricks, would that count as a spell?
It would not count as a spell.
Okay.
It is just dropping an item, and I will allow you to do that.
Okay, so one of the things that it says is it's friendly to us, and it acts on my turn. So it says that I can command the creature to move and what action it takes. I know that it can't really attack, but I could get it to distract, right?
Let's see what happens.
Try to distract it. Okay.
So in essence, I won't be too much of an asshole about this. What it does is it literally creates a wild creature with the one caveat that it sort of likes you. So that's how you should see it. So can it attack? Technically, if it feels threatened, but it's not. It's not a familiar.
Doesn't it follow your commands? That was part of it.
Yeah, it does follow.
It does. It does, but it leans heavily towards being an animal rather than to being a familiar. So if you summon a bird and you ask it to attack, it'll try, but it won't risk its life. Where a familiar definitely would. It will follow without question.
Okay. In Casariel's head, she'll hear, I'm going to try and distract them away from the door. Get as close to the fence as you can with John. Be quiet.
All right, be sure it's an animal they care about. I'm sure they see plenty of animals around here.
Carla, I need one more stealth check as you get this close.
Okay. That's a dirty 20.
You're fine.
Awesome.
Bargrove.
Casario, Carla walked away. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay. With that, then, I'm going to throw one of the animals in. Ooh, how am I going to do this? Right, I'm going to try and duck behind the fence post as much as possible, and toss one of the balls here.
Where?
In sort of towards the corner. Yeah.
Okay. So you're grabbing one of the balls from your bag of tricks and you hurl it towards a corner of this small courtyard behind the building. Roll me a d8.
D8. Ooh, exciting.
Yes.
3.
Excited to see.
A 3. Okay. Okay, this is gonna be fun.
What happened?
Let me see if I get a token before I tell you.
Oh boy. Fingers crossed for axe beat. Fingers crossed for axe beat.
No, it's worse.
Oh god. I'm gonna follow.
This is the best I have. So the ball pops onto the floor, and as it does, a large baboon pops out of it and looks really confused at where he is.
Amazing.
Piccolo. Who's Piccolo?
Oh, do you remember the monkey from the?
This is
thing?
this is the token of the monkey from Blinksy. I don't have any other monkey token, so we'll live with it. This is a baboon now.
I love it.
So it pops into existence. It's rainy over here. He doesn't like this. He's confused, and he yells out, and all the needle blights notice that and rush towards him and start attacking him.
Oh god.
Do you want to roll this as combat? Because then we're going to roll for initiative, or are you going to just let this happen?
I'm going to let this happen and try to sneak in. Here.
All right.
Okay. Follow me.
Go right ahead. I will roll that it'll take them 3 rounds to kill the baboon. They will definitely kill him. The baboon will get away.
Oh.
It'll take them. So you have, say, 18 seconds to get in. So you're
we
running in
rush.
right now?
We rush in.
Okay. Full. No, not full. Cool. There we go.
I feel foolish.
Well, foolish me. Yeah, maybe foolish too, but we'll get to that in a bit. You run around the corner, and you run into what seems to be a loading dock right here. This doesn't count towards your 18 seconds, by the way, my explanation.
Okay.
I'll just draw it out very long. As you run into the loading dock, you notice that there is wooden planks all around you that are slightly elevated from the ground to line up with any cart that would park here. There is a cart parked right now with 3 wooden barrels that are just about that height. You see a little ladder on the side, but you could also just jump up on the wooden ledge if you'd want to. Above you, which you can't see on this map, but above you there is a wooden rope with a hook hanging in the air that is used to just pull up these barrels, it seems. In the corner, you notice 2 doors that are on the wooden platform. So you have 2 doors to go to, or to grab the rope and climb. So the wooden platform, as I said, is about cart height. You could easily jolt on top of that. Carla, for you, it's a little more difficult. So are you going to jump up on there by yourself?
I put her up there.
Yeah, John.
I can see her.
Oh, I can't see you though.
Oh yeah, you got blind sight. Yeah.
So John essentially sees the world as these ethereal strings, and he can see her if they're 10 feet within 10 feet.
Of course. That is so smart. Holy shit. I was like, this is going to be full of fun because we're going to get a dexterity roll. No, you can totally see that. No,
Incredible.
It's fine. You got on there. There you go.
All right. Following you, and he's ready for you to go toward the doors.
I'm gonna pop over here and I gotta check to see if the door's open.
All right. Pick a door.
This one.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It seems to be one of the doors that doesn't have a chain on it. It opens up.
Awesome.
Amazing. To look at it. Can I pop in?
Yep, you can.
Fantastic
Looking
job, Carla.
inside. Hang on. I'm just going to show that. There we go. Looking inside, you see a large room with 4 giant wooden barrels. Mm-hmm. They seem to be fermentation vats, and you're pretty sure it is because you really smell that, strong smell of fermenting wine that is in this room. This is a 2-story room over here. And these caskets are, or casks, they're not caskets. These casks are 8 feet wide and about 12 feet tall, so they're big. Behind them, against the wall, you notice a couple of wooden barrels that are lined up there, probably for filling or something. In the center of the room, there's a staircase that rises to a wooden balcony that goes along the south wall. On the west and on the eastern side, you see upper balconies with doors. You notice some movement at the top of the balcony.
Do you think they're upstairs? Or...
Like they might be.
I'm gonna try to edge in a little bit and just see if I can see more clearly what is up above.
It's hard to see, but you notice a relatively large shadow moving along the balcony up there. It is dimly lit and you can't really see it that well.
Right. Whatever it is looks bigger than whatever was outside.
Is it also dimly lit in the rest of the room?
It is.
All right. These might be the druids. This might be our chance to talk to them or fight them.
Okay. Let's pick our way towards them then. Are we all in agreement that we'll go up and try and directly get to the druids?
I think so. I think that's the best way to end this.
Okay, up we go.
All right. You ascend the stairs and go to the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. I don't know why, but I read Winery as Whitney.
Whitney.
Loading Whitney's second floor.
Wait, who are we visiting again? Let me just set up the map for you because now I know from which side you're coming. I need to edit a couple of things.
No worries.
Very quickly.
While he's editing, do we think that we're after doing the wrong thing here?
Okay, I have to give credit where credit is due. I did not think we would make it through that without being noticed. Excellent.
That is so. Job. The invisibility was a very smart use, and the bag of tricks was just a perfect ending to that.
Yeah.
Ba-boom.
Poor Piccolo.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Gone but never forgotten.
Missed.
Yep.
Boy, we're just making our way through innocent animals over the. Although they're fey, but I guess it's not. I don't know. Oh man, I feel bad. Stoker, I miss you. All right.
You go up the stairs, and now you very clearly can see what the shape was. You see a gaunt lady standing in the corner of this balcony. She's wearing like a brown kind of cloak with some green accents to it, and next to her she has 2 very small twig figures that are sort of like jumping up and down very happily. You notice that she's bending over the railing and looking at the door that you guys opened to see if anything came in through that. She hasn't noticed you just yet.
Does she remind me of the Dusk Elves that we met at the Vistani place? Because she, based on her...
No, not at all. She has the same kind of grayishness to her skin, definitely, but she doesn't look like a Dusk Elf.
Okay.
In Casario's head, she'll hear... Can you send a message towards her? Maybe try and gauge whether or not she would talk to us. Like sending. No? Okay.
I can't. She would hear me.
Okay.
I mean, she would hear that I'm here in the room. I mean, I have to say it out loud.
As John, I'm going to go ahead and ready an action that if she... Can I ready an action basically if she starts attacking, just if I'm close enough to her, hit her?
Sure.
Basically tense up. I don't want to fight, but if she starts a fight, I'm gonna fight.
Sure.
All right, cool. I'm gonna let Carla handle this how she wants.
Okay. Oh jeez. Okay. I don't know whether we want to go friendly. Yeah, we probably do, right?
I think we want to try.
Okay. All input? Do you think we should go friendly, Kazariel? You're muted.
I feel like we can't talk about that right now because it's
Okay.
meta.
I know.
You know.
I get ya.
Move forward boldly.
Okay.
We've made our choice. Let's do this.
Okay, so then I'm going to get myself in a position here, and I'm going to message her. I'm going to point my finger at her and message her and say, could we talk?
And as you do that, she just tenses up immediately, and you see her raising up a hand, and her hand starts glowing a little bit. She says, "Who's there?"
Friends. Friends of the land.
Okay.
We came to talk. We want to know why this attack is happening.
I can't see you. Where are you?
If you are a friend, I will reveal myself to you, but I don't know if you are yet.
I don't know if you are either.
Exactly. I will not attack you, you will not attack me. All I need is answers.
She remains quiet.
We might be able to help each other.
Who are you?
I'm Carla Lilacott. I'm an investigative journalist.
And you believe that nature should prevail?
I believe that the land should heal. I think it's been horribly scarred from what I've seen since coming here.
How can I trust that what you say is true?
How can I trust that you will not kill me upon seeing me? I know this land is dangerous. I know that people are not what they seem, but trust me, I do not want to fight you. I do not want more death on my hands, or anyone's hands, or of this land. All I want to know is why you are attacking this place.
Give me a persuasion check on that.
Okay, which I have to do for disadvantage because I don't...
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Persuasion. That's a 14.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're just saying something. You came in here in some way. How did... Nothing outside alerted us that you were coming in. So either you were inside already, or you snuck in through the use of magic. That is magic that I don't know, so you don't... You're...
I am not here. I am not within
Yes,
these walls.
you are.
How do you know? How can I trust you? How can you trust me? There is nothing here. All I want is answers. Why are you attacking this place? We've gotten the Martikov stories. We need yours. We need to know who to trust. As much as you need to know who to trust.
She turns around and she starts to walk away. Do you want to do something about that, or are you going to let her?
In both of their heads, kind of one after the other, it's, let's tail her. Oh, she could be bringing us to a trap, actually, never mind.
Oh, after you say that, I think that is a good idea, actually. If she doesn't know we're here, then at the very least... Oh, she left her twigs.
Yes,
The
she
twigs
did.
are still there.
What do they look like in terms of, are they like a foot tall or a meter tall, or?
They're about... again, about half of Carla. So I like that unit of measurement. I don't know. It's just...
Okay,
so about a foot and a half. 2 foot somewheres.
Okay. I could think she could be leading us to a trap, but we might also be led to the rest of the druids.
Do you want to look the other way then instead? We know there's no her that way.
What do you think? Flip a coin?
I can't really communicate with Carla right now because I don't think I'm comfortable enough to talk with these things nearby.
Okay.
So, when you say, what do you think to me? He responds with, what does Casario think? Or sorry, I meant Casario, not Carla.
Okay. Should we follow her or should we not? Sorry, her.
I think she's going to get her friends to come and try to kill us. So we should probably take out these blights.
Okay,
And then
well,
I think we didn't bar the door, so there's many more of them outside
Does make
that
sense.
might join them.
Is there any...
That's what I'm worried about.
Looking at the door that she went through, does it look like it has a latch or anything on this side that can be used to bar it?
Not really, but there's always a... I mean, you can always bar a door if you'd want to, if you, like, use something, but it doesn't look like the door inherently has it itself.
Right, okay, and
Do
that's
we
what I was
have any
asking.
movable rod?
Yep.
Or was that last campaign?
That was last campaign.
What?
Last campaign.
The immovable
Pardon?
rod. Nothing.
I know. Oh, I wish we had that. There's so much I wish we had. Do we want to bar the
Alright.
door downstairs then and then continue forth? They can come in. But there's other routes in. Let's go after them. If we can kill them first with all of our resources, the rest will drop.
I feel like if we take these things out, it might make it easier for us in a fight, but we will end all negotiations. And at this point, I don't know what you were talking about together, but
I have an idea.
Didn't trust
I guess
me.
I say out loud.
Okay.
Not out loud, but whisper.
Mhm.
Which... We're in a room with enemies. Actually, I don't say anything out loud. I'm just gonna go up and I'm just gonna tap Carla and hope.
I'll reach out a message and be like, yes.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh yes. No, I remember now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm nervous.
oh, that's awesome.
Fair, fair.
You should be, I mean, take your time.
Okay. Carla, why don't you follow her? You're the stealthiest. We'll wait here. If she starts to attack you or there's a group of them, hurry back to us. We'll barricade this door, take out these blights, and at least we have a chokehold.
I also have one more trick up my sleeve. If this all goes shits up. That's about it.
I do have my wand of crate removal if that comes in handy.
I have charming persuasion that might work in getting negotiations started at least.
Now, it is entirely possible that what they want is directly at odds with what we need. So I'd like to give them a chance. I'd like to give them a chance, but anyway. All right. So go for it. I'll stay here with Casario.
Alright, I'll try to creep past these two.
Nope.
Okay.
I need you to roll me a stealth check.
Oh, excellent. Oh, excellent. That's a 27.
Okay, well, even though these creatures are very good at detecting stealth, they're blissfully unaware that something about the size of one Carlo just sneaks past them.
I'm up against the wall, tiptoeing.
Let me just throw away like the rest of my campaign for today.
No, it's okay. All you need is one
No, I'm
bad
kidding.
roll from me. All you need
I'm
is
kidding, I'm
one.
kidding.
And even if it was a natural one, I could real roll it. Actually, no.
No, I'm kidding. It's just, I did not expect that to happen, so that was great.
Again, I started everything towards dexterity, so that I'd have high stealth because I was like, we need a rogue, but I don't want to play a rogue.
It's just perfect. Like it's great. So continue.
Okay, I'm going to creep up towards this door.
Yep.
And is it open or shut?
It is closed.
It's closed. Okay. If I'm going to try and very, very quietly, like, push it open. I'm going to keep my eye on those blights to see if they start noticing. If they start noticing, then I'm going to stop.
Okay. As you open the door, it doesn't make a sound.
I'm going to peek my head inside.
And as you peek ahead, around the corner, you get hit in the face with a vine whip.
Need a concentration check then.
Yeah, I know. I first need to make an attack roll against you.
Oh wow.
Okay.
See if that actually even hits.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 21 hit.
Oh, that sure does. Shocking.
Yeah.
It sure does.
Ah! Stick to
So-
shoulder, break my bones. The vines will never hurt me.
Oh, I can do it
One.
going into a trap.
1. You take some damage,
Mm-hmm.
which is only 2 damage.
Okay.
Secondly, I need you to make a concentration check.
That's a 4.
All 3 of you are visible right now, and Carla, the vine whip rips around you and pulls you into the hallway.
Fuck.
Bye.
Bye,
girl.
Roll for initiative.
Exciting.
Let's go.
Well,
And is it 23? It was nearly going well. Even then, I don't know if it was going well. It could have been going ass. I don't know.
Oh, you're.
stealth is always an option, but failure is also always an option.
Yeah.
Never.
I-
Never worked. But that's okay.
What did you get?
Yeah.
I got 23.
23. John?
12.
12. Xaria?
9.
9. Okay. Carla, at least you can start. Give me 1 second to get everything ready, but at least you can start, so that's something.
Okay. Excellent.
To a degree.
Oh.
And let me show you this part of the map now that you've been pulled into the hallway. It would be cool if you can actually see where you are, right? It's one of those things.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, dearie. Oh, well, I mean, I'm in here with a woman. Okay.
And Twig Blight that is behind you. All right, Carla, you are first. What do you do?
In a panic, I'll call forth my spirits. I'll be like, shit. And what's going to happen is you see like a kind of a weird combination of like Cassariel and John's armor just sort of like pops up on her in like a spectral form as the tale of the traveler comes out. So I'm going to gain a what should we call it? I'm going to gain 7 temporary hit points. I'm going to have a +1 to my AC, and I can move an extra 10 feet. And that's my bonus action. So as my main action,
That's cool, by the way.
yeah, as my main action, I'm going to look at her and I'm going to say, "This doesn't have to be a fight," and attempt to charm her.
Okay.
Yeah, so she needs to give me a wisdom saving throw of 14.
Okay.
Nice.
She got a 15.
Oh.
Terrible. Okay.
El terrible.
So I try to reach out to her mind, but it doesn't really work, and I'm just sort of like standing there, armed up. Oh dear. It doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't work.
All right. The Twig Blight's turn is now, and the Twig Blights that are on the balcony both move towards John. That one can make it. That one.
How can you see me?
4.
Oh.
Because you're visible now.
Well, no. How could you see me? Oh, crap.
Oh yeah, John doesn't know that. Yeah, fair enough.
Well,
Good roleplay.
no,
You fooled me. One of them is following suit and can't reach you, but the other one sure can, and it tries to lash out at you with a claw attack, and he does that twice with both arms. Once for a natural 20, so for 23 total, and once for a 17 plus 3 is a dirty 20.
Both of those hit.
All right, that is a total of 9 piercing damage.
Ow. It gets right in the like chinks of my armor and the chains. Ow! Ow!
Yeah, so these are like those very sharp kind of twigs that you find like on dead bushes. That's like kind of what it looks like, and it tries to poke into your flesh. The one behind you, Carla, also tries to do the same thing with you. Does that for well, the dice giveth, the dice taketh away. Natural 1. So it tries to like poke one of its limbs at you and like breaks off a little twig because it hits the wall. And you're like a very, very faint yelp. John, your turn.
I can't think of a reason why he would say 4, but he leans up a golf swing and punts it. All right.
Love it. Let's go.
That is going to be a... Oh, man. I probably should have had that up. All right. 15 to hit.
That hits.
Fantastic. So let's go ahead and roll it. It's 22 damage.
So you hit it square in what is resembling a face, and it just flies off towards the side of the balcony, bounces off from that and hits a wall, drops down against one of the vats, and finally lands down on the ground, broken and dead.
Okay. And as my maul swings forward, suddenly with newfound speed, it swings and then almost leaves my hand for a moment and rotates again a full, another swing. And as I step forward, and it hits the, or tries to hit the second one.
All right, go ahead.
Whatever. That's going to be 18 on the die, which is 22.
That hits.
Alrighty. 5 plus 20. 20 damage.
All right. You break off a couple of the branches from this creature, and it doesn't look too good. There's holes between the twigs right now, but it's still standing.
Well, since I killed something with my heavy weapon master, I get a bonus action strike. So I'm going to try one more time. So the one underhanded swing, it comes out of my hands and rotates for another underhanded swing and keeps spinning for a 16 to hit.
That hits.
All right. I'm going to roll it, but I think I know the answer. 6 plus 50, so 21 damage.
Do I need to tell you?
I think we're good.
So you hit it once and you just slap a couple of like twigs out of its body, and it's basically just like a hollow frame at this point. And you arch it back and come up back and hit it from the top down, and you smash it into the wooden planks below. It's part of the house now.
Architecture.
Decoration.
Carla, and I'm gonna run my. I think I ran forward 10 feet already, so I'm gonna run forward an additional 20 feet. Can I get here? I think
that would be yeah. You were fine.
Closies. All right, as far up as I can get towards Carla, and that's my turn.
Okay, Casario.
Sariel is going to close her eyes and lift up into the air.
Yes.
As I passed my steps of night, yes. I'm going to use my action to dash or fly, double fly.
I will fly you there. Where do you want to go?
A flash?
Just right here to the corner.
There you go.
Yeah, not inside the door, but yeah, like kind of up here so I can see that blight.
Yep.
And that is my turn.
That is so cool.
Cool.
So cool. I love it when you use your flight. It's great.
I love it when I win.
Druid's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What horrible things are we going to do to you?
That's so fun. It's so beautiful.
The druid. Oh, hang on. I got a mosquito in my beer. Go away.
That's not good.
There we go.
Delicious.
No, it's mine.
Protein.
You know, I paid for that.
Speaking of eating bugs earlier.
The druid is going to point at you, and as she does, there is a cloud of mites, fleas, and other parasites that are just flying towards you. I need a Constitution saving throw.
The last one went so well. The 10.
That is not enough. You are being hit with the full force of these mites and fleas and like parasites that are hitting your body.
Oh, it's disgusting. Oh,
it's
no.
It's as filthy as it sounds. You take 5 poison damage.
Okay.
And you fly a little ways away towards because I need to roll for that as well. That is a 3. That is, you fly 5 feet towards the east. So you fly that way.
Oh.
You're still in the range of the twig blight, so that doesn't provoke an opportunity attack. And with that, we're at the top of the round. Carla.
Oh, great. I fucking hate this. I'm going to whip out the bagpipes and do a thunder wave to try and get these bugs off me and hit both of them as well. Well, I can.
Sure.
So they need to give me Constitution 14.
Is that the thunder wave, is that a conical or a spherical?
The cube.
Cube. Okay, you're fine. Yep.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hit. No, you're fine. Okay. So
it's through
what
a
is
wall, so I don't think that would count. It's in
I'm
front.
quickly gonna go grab my dice as I just dropped that. Hang on.
Okay, fair.
It's so tense.
I think we're good. I think we got this. This is good.
All right.
Negotiations have broken down.
They really have. I'm gonna fucking throw in a D6 with that. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Sorry for that. What was that I need to check?
Constitution 14.
13. So she fails.
She fails. Okay, great. She's going to take
Oh, for the twig as well, right?
yeah, 22 of thunder damage and be pushed back 10 feet.
Okay. The twig also failed it with a 9, so the twig is just obliterated.
Mhm.
And the druid takes how much? She said 22, right?
22, and she's pushed 10 feet back.
All right, so she is pushed against a door over there, and as she flies back and hits that, you just see like a blood splatter against the wall. She is looking very bloody.
Okay, can I move or am I stuck here with the termites?
No, it doesn't stuck you, so you're fine. You can move again.
Okay, then I'm going to fucking dart outside the door as fast as possible and be like, Kazariel, I'm so sorry. This is going very poorly.
All right. The twig blights are now, but they're all dead, so we'll skip that. John.
I would have come sooner, but I can't fly. And he'll continue around. How far can I get with 30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Yeah, I'll allow the diagonal.
All right. All right. If we're gonna make this a fight, let's make it a fight. And I'm gonna cast Bless on both of them. I'm all three of us. So now we have Bless.
It's a D4, right?
D4 added to attack rolls and saving throws.
Excellent, thank you so much.
Yes. And I'm gonna end my turn, sort of trying to. I'm gonna see if I can interpose myself in the door, just so that she can't come through.
All right.
Or at least make it difficult.
Casario.
Well, John's in the fucking doorway, so
You can get through. I'll let you through if you want.
yeah, I can fly.
Yeah.
I can fly. Yeah. I'll fly in.
Yep.
Whoops. Nope. Don't want to do that. I'm gonna fly in.
Don't worry, guys. I got this.
I'm
Close
going
this
to
door.
do her. A sphere appears in my hands, turns into 2, and I'm going to chuck 2 moon bolts at her.
Beautiful. Let's go.
All right. That's a 12 for one and
That misses.
16 for the other.
Ooh, barely hits.
Ooh, okay, good. Okay, that's 5 points of damage.
She gets a hit like square in the jaw with it, and she's looking very angrily at you, but she's still standing.
Okay, and are the mites still there? Did I fly?
No,
into
the mites is just a temporary effect, and then it dissipates. So you're fine.
Okay.
Am I clean
Then I'm
again?
I'm just gonna run back in the door.
All right. The druid's turn. She runs here, looking at all three of you, face like square faced, and she casts on the ground beneath you spike growth, encompassing all three of you. It turns
not me, I'm not on the ground.
Hmm?
I'm not on the ground. I'm not on the ground.
You're hovering. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so you're fine. It is difficult terrain, however, and is there a check against this? It doesn't say.
Oh, spike growth is awesome.
It doesn't say any check whatever, so it's just a flat damage. Wow, that's terrible.
Ooh.
So that's 2d4 for both of you. Let's see.
Oh, excellent. Lovely.
I'm sorry, I rolled max. That's 8 damage for the both of you.
Fine. Doesn't hurt at all.
Top it around. Carla.
Do I try for one more charm? I don't think I should.
You can't see her from where you're standing.
Okay, fair.
Get off. Save yourself. Get off the spike. Get off the damage.
Okay, get off the damage. Fab. Yeah, I'm going to try and navigate my way. I can move through them because they are bigger than me.
Through John and Casserly, you can, but do know that you will take damage from the spikes.
Oh, if I try to move out of it, would I get damage as well?
Once, yes.
Once.
Unless you find a very good way to convince me that you don't.
Okay, fair.
I do a sick backflip off the wall.
She's stealthy. She's not that good.
Parkour.
Okay, I suppose I'll chuck myself further back here.
I ride a bear.
Like from the stairs?
The stairs, yeah.
All right, I will allow you.
Whereabouts is the spike? Because I can't visualize where it is.
It's a 20-foot cube. It covers the entire platform at the top. I will allow this under a rule of cool. Let's see how this goes. You can do two things. One, we will just accept the fact that you have left the area and you will take a 2d4 damage from leaving the area. Or I'm going to allow you to roll a dexterity check or a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
If you succeed the saving throw, you don't take damage and you land perfectly underneath the at the bottom of the stairs. However, if you fail, you will get 1d4 damage from the spikes, and you'll take falling damage as you fall down the stairs. So,
okay,
what are we
I'll
gonna do?
take the dangerous one. I'm a gambler.
Let's go.
All right.
Dexterity saving throw.
Yes. That's 24.
You make it. Fine.
+7 to dexterity saving throws.
I love it.
Yeah. Carla, nimbly, I imagine one of the spikes kind of takes her up, and she just goes whoop and jumps down, kind of springily to the back. And I would like to use my action to get out that doll that has Witch Bolt on it from the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to just get it out. I don't know what it does. I don't think we have a custom item for it.
I think it just gives you the spell Witch Bolt.
It gets you to spell Witch Bolt once per day.
Once per day. So would my full action be taking it out?
Yes, because you don't have it ready.
Perfect. So that's just what I'll do. I'll take out that doll.
Cool. Good usage of items that were introduced 10 episodes ago, by the way. Very good.
Thanks to Daniel for reminding us we had it.
All right, John.
All right. I'm looking at the rules for grappling. I want to step forwards, or actually, I'm just getting. She's within my reach, right?
She is, definitely.
I'm gonna try to grab her arms and just hold her in place and say, "We came here to talk to you. We need to talk about this." And I want to try to make a grab to basically pin her so she can't attack us anymore.
Okay, sure. So that's opposing strength check then. Let's see.
I believe so.
Yep.
Let's see. I got a. Oh man, I went off the right page. There we go. Okay. And bless does not apply to that, so I got a 16.
You're not going to believe me. This is a very feeble druid, but she got a 17. She beats you at this.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have to, a grapple replaces one of my attacks. So if she tries to, what does she do? How does she react to my trying to grab her?
So this druid, now that you're up close, you're noticing that her skin almost looks like it's the outside of a tree. It's very there's these grooves in there. So as you try to grab it, I imagine there's just a couple of flakes letting loose, and that's how she just sort of wrestles her arm free. But she's shocked at the fact that you try to touch her.
Saloon's not gonna like this, and I rear back with my weapon and make my second attack.
Go ahead.
All right. That's a 17.
That hits.
Low damage roll, which brings us to a 19.
That's low. Oh. All right, my friend, what happens?
So I try to grab her hands to basically stop her from casting and say, "We're trying to come to you as in a talk." And she reels back, almost disgusted that I touched her. And I just sort of sigh and pull up my weapon and just, it passes through her.
Perfect. And she gets hit with like the full force of your weapon and drops down to the floor, vanquished.
I didn't want that to happen.
Does the spike growth disappear?
It dissipates as she dies, yes.
I didn't want that to happen, but she was threatening you guys, and
That's it plus death. Her body's not disappearing. Oh.
I mean, if you want me to remove the token, that's fine too.
No, that's just making me suspicious of whether or not we really killed her.
No, no. Is she wearing robes or a coat, a cloak? What is she
Definitely,
wearing?
yes. She's wearing a like a very simple made brown cloak and I think what constitutes a dress, but like it doesn't look that great. Like the cape looks actually pretty okay, and she's wearing like a little pack.
Okay. I'm gonna examine her body and see what all she's got on her.
Give me an investigation check.
while she's doing that, Carla, are you all right?
Yes. Carla will rush up and be like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'll be okay. Thank
Sure.
you." I'm going to then go and just rate her body for anything.
Go ahead.
That's going to be what's my investigation? That's dirty 20.
Okay. So you notice that for one, she didn't have any weapons on her. Apparently, she relied just solely on her magical abilities. In her pack, she has what you think would go as some rations, just some dried berries and whatnot. But other than that, in her pack, she has 4 very small glass vials. They're all empty. Well, sort of empty. It seems to be that there's some residue inside.
Can I try and see if I can recognize it through like my arcane knowledge?
Not through your arcane knowledge, but you can try me. You can try a nature check.
I'll give a nature check.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's not bad. What's my adaptable nature? That's a 19.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So through your subtle alchemical background, like you've been around potions and you've dabbled in that just a little bit. You look at the bottles and you approach this very carefully. So you take one of the corks off, you smell, and you don't smell anything. Like this is just apparently an odorless substance. You look at it, you notice that it's a very sort of like sticky residue that's on the inside of this bottle. And being the Carla that you are, at some point you will stick like your pinky finger in there, just dab it just very minorly, and you will just tip your tongue to be like, is there anything that I notice here? And as you do, you notice that there is a certain ting to that, which immediately like throws you like this is bad juju. This is most probably poison.
Oh. And it's empty.
All the 4 bottles are empty.
Okay, we'll need to go check that wine afterwards. This is poison, and it's empty, which means it was either given to someone or those vats are open.
I'm going to take her cloak.
Sure. You now have a brown moss and dirt-covered cloak. It doesn't look too great on you.
No, but I don't look like a priestess in it.
Fair.
Stealth prep.
Fair. All right.
Can either of you detect the location of poisons and anything else? Because I do have Saloon's blessing of purifying. I can purify something if I need to.
I can.
You have purified food and water?
I do. I've had it. I've had it for a while, and I've just like ignored it.
I think if we managed to save this place, it would be worth doing it to the wine caskets.
Purify food
just
and
in
drink.
case.
I can't after we sleep.
Now,
Okay.
just sorry, point of clarity. It only works in 5-foot sphere, so it's not like it's gonna do a ton.
It will work in a 5-foot sphere, but I will rule that if you use it on a substance that is larger than 5 foot, it will basically cover the entire substance.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Well.
All right. New plan. Same as we always do. We open the door, we assess the danger. We walk in, we fuck shit up.
Sounds good. And it seems like whatever is outside is not reacting to us inside yet. So I think if we barricade this door, it could be worth our time.
As we walk down this hallway, is there anything to our right here, or is it just another wall?
Oh, sorry. No, there is a complete hallway over there that leads towards a stone spiral staircase. You notice that on one side, it is just a wall on the southern side, but on the northern side, you see no less than 4 doors.
Oh, exciting.
Interesting.
That's like a vanity there, yeah?
It's no, it's like a little wooden window without any glass in it that looks out on the fermentation vats, and underneath there is just a little drawer with some stuff in it.
Can we move that drawer towards the door, or do we want to leave the door open in case we need to leave? Just to block anything coming up.
I'll help John move that in front of this door.
Okay, yeah, I'll out their direction. I'll go ahead and pull the whatever it is. It's a movable furniture.
With the right amount of willpower, everything is movable furniture. So.
Well, so I know it's a window.
It is
in front of the window. Is there something?
It's you can get that out. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll block the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
And hey, we have this handy little window to. He looks out, drop down 20 feet. Never mind.
We have rope.
Also, just for complete clarity, towards the south, as you might have noticed, there is a stone spiral staircase that doesn't go up; it only goes down.
Okay, excellent.
Well,
all right.
I think
Up or
negotiations may no longer be on the table at this point.
Let's clear up and then go down.
Yes, that is wise. However, there are creatures in there that only will deplete our resources and our health. By the way, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. I
feel fine.
I managed to pull forth the spirit that helped with sort of negating a lot of the damage. I will be okay. We also have potions, we have things, but if she's up here and she wasn't that much of a formidable foe, the others could be close by.
Yes. So if you were
I think she would have been a formidable foe. If
you were controlling things, would you control them from upstairs or downstairs? I feel like I would control them from downstairs.
I feel like upstairs. You're away from the main source of fighting.
Yeah.
I've never encountered druids before, though, so I don't know their battle tactics.
Well, they like the earth, so I can't imagine an attic would be their place of choice, but I don't know. This is Barovia.
We've encountered strange things all over houses.
While they're talking about this, I'm going to drink a potion of healing.
No! What are you doing? Don't do that!
You need it?
I have 2. I have multiple.
Okay.
Did you drink it already? It's a greater healing potion, was it not?
No, I have 2. I have a potion of healing and a potion of healing that's bigger. He holds up the greater healing potion that's clearly not drunk yet.
I can heal you. I'm here. That's what I do.
I know, but I don't want to. You have a limited amount of energy. I don't want to waste it on. I've got the ability.
Okay. Are you pretty down on?
No. I'm. This is just getting me back into a more comfortable range.
Okay,
I wasn't even. I'm barely even bleeding.
This is like a big story moment. I think it's okay to use a little bit of those resources here and there.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's 10, right? 10 from a potion of healing?
That's something that doesn't take an action.
It would take an action if we were in combat. So. I feel better. I feel almost entirely like as if we just woke up.
Good. All right, so we're going upstairs or downstairs? Upstairs?
We're up here already and we've barricaded the door, so we have at least this place cleared off a little bit. Might as well clear it.
We have the high ground.
All right.
And he sort of gestures to the door, and he goes to open it, looking for your approval.
The hand comes up before him
Fine.
and holds it out for a high five.
Ugh, he just walks away from it.
Swivels around and opens it.
Okay. As the door opens up, behind the door, you see what seems to be a printing press and some paraphernalia. The room is otherwise empty.
Paper.
Oh, I'm immediately going towards the desk.
All right. On the desk, there seems to be just some papers, and they seem to pertain like what kind of settings you need to use on the printing press. The printing press itself seems to be there just to print the labels for the wine bottles.
And looking at the wine bottles here, are any of them Champagne du la Stomp?
They are not.
Okay. Alright. If there really is nothing else here, then I'll pop out. And head to the next door and do the same thing. Hand
Do we need
follows
to
me.
open every door, though? I mean, can't we... Surely what we're looking for is not in there. Bedrooms, don't you think?
Who knows?
That's the thing, we don't know. God, as God mentioned, who knows?
You know me, if there is no use in just going room by room, I will tell you there's nothing there. Conversely, if I say who knows, you know what that means, so take your time.
Alrighty. Open up.
The room seems to be a bunk room. The bunk room has a couple of beds and a couple of footlockers in there. And what you immediately notice if you walk into this room is that the place is just a mess, and it looks like it was searched or like a hasty retreat was made over here with only precious belongings taken.
I'm going to investigate around the different boxes to see if there's anything left.
Other than some personal effects and some clothing, there's nothing of value here.
Perfect. On to the next room.
The next room also is a bunk room with a couple of beds and a couple of footlockers. In the middle of the room, however, you notice a rather large rocking horse. The rocking horse is painted black, and where his eyes should be, you see two fiery depictions of, well, fire. There's a name etched into the belly of the rocking horse. It says Bucephalus. Next to it, there's a very small logo. He's no fun. He's no Blinksy.
Oh, charming. I'll show the rocking horse the doll that we got from Linksy. Look, it's one of your friends.
I want to get on the rocking horse.
Sure. Give me a God, what are we gonna do for that? Give me a
It's been a long time since I've ridden a horse.
What's your current weight? What's your current weight, John?
I'm very light. I'm the lightest. I'm super light. Weight carried is 72 pounds with my armor and everything, and another 50 pounds in my backpack with rations.
All right, plus
me.
you.
Yeah.
You break this horse. You sit on top of it, and it just this is made for small children. I'm so sorry.
I
Break this horse.
haven't ridden a horse in a long time.
I kind of want to give you a splinter now, but I'll be benevolent.
Fine. It was like this when we found it.
Sure. Over here. Whoop.
The next and final room of this hallway, unless you, because a little further along there's a stone staircase that descends in a spiral manner. The last room that you notice over here is a rather large room. This room has a large dinner table in the middle, as well as 8 chairs that are adorning it side to side. There's a window that overlooks the vineyard to the north, and in the northeast corner there is a small door. As you enter this room, you do hear some noise coming from the east adjoining room. There's a door between the two rooms.
I'd indicate to the two of them to be sort of quiet a little bit. Okay, I think there's another druid near the east. What plan do we want? Do we want one of you to go in first, prepare something? Lure her out? What do you think?
At this point, I think it'd be pretty cruel to pretend we were friends if we've already murdered a friend.
I suppose.
Shall I announce our presence? Wait,
That gives
no.
them time to prepare.
That's a
So
good
we go
point.
for the surprise ambush.
All right. Well, he what do you call it? Very stealthily or very carefully moves around the chair and sort of gestures to them, says, all right, you go forward and I'll come in if anything goes bad.
Okay.
And by this time, bless is no longer in effect.
That's okay. So it's at this door that you're talking about? Yes, the east.
Yes, there is a good point of clarification. There is a northeast door at the top that is just a door into a pantry. There's a eastern door. That's the one that you hear sound coming from. And there is a southeastern door, which seems to be more quiet.
Okay, then I am going to ready my ready Thunderwave. Kind of ready my bagpipes with Thunderwave, and then stand in front of this door and push it open. And if anything comes out at me, I will blast the bitch.
All right. You open the door, and nothing immediately comes at you. So there's that. However, as you look into the room, you notice that this is a large master bedroom with a large 2-person bed, a mirror, and some boxes here and there. There's a table with a book on top of it and a scroll. And in the middle of the room, you notice that there's 2 druids that are currently going through the personal effects in this room, with 3 twig blights standing guard. And as you open the door, all 5 of them turn around at you and look very angry. I will allow you to use the Thunder Wave on the twig blights, and then you need to roll for initiative.
Very well, excellent. I will do that. Okay. And you know what? That is going to be a 7 damage to all of those twig blights. And they have to give me a Constitution 14 saving throw, otherwise it's halved.
Constitution 14, they get a 3, so they fail.
Yeah. Okay, so they all take 7 Thunder Wave damage, and they get pushed back 10 feet.
Okay.
All right.
And with that, I need a roll for initiative. Let's go.
Woo! Okay. That's a 7 for me.
14.
Oh, that's I have to do that too. 11.
That does help. John had an 11. Carla, what did you have, you said?
7.
7. And Casario?
14.
14. Alrighty. The druids will go first. Oh, that one is dead.
Has it been 10 minutes since we got there, or is it like still within 10-minute range?
Just like for what are you asking that specifically?
So from when we finished off that druid there, would it have been about 10 minutes or?
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes, okay. Never mind then.
So if there's a spell that only has like 10 minutes, I'll allow you to still have that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have my bardic inspiration from the last round would carry over.
Yeah,
we'll say for one more round. I guess,
yeah, it's fine.
To make things easier.
All right.
Very cool.
The druid closest to you, Carla, you see him grasping his quarterstaff that he has, and you see that as he does that, a faint green glow comes off of it as the weapon itself sort of like starts to show spikes and whatnot on it. It seems that he did some sort of druidic spell to make his quarterstaff more strong, and he rushes out the door to meet next to you, and he slaps the quarterstaff towards you, tries to hit you.
Oh. It's now
And he
15
does
to
that.
hit.
How much?
15 to hit.
He makes that with a 17.
Okay.
And that is a total of 6 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Okay. All right. Oof.
The second druid hops onto the bed and points at you and casts Gust of Wind. I need a strength saving throw from you.
Oh god. Natural.
Wow, there we go.
My save is 0 because I have that cloak that gives me a +1.
That is just beautiful.
That's amazing.
I literally broke out the Degrania dice only for today because I knew it would be dead.
Yep, you just stand there defiantly. There's nothing doing, like, there's nothing happening other than that. You're standing there defiantly. It takes your hat off, and like for a moment, you stand there with hair billowing in the wind, like the supermodel that you are.
Hello,
Casariel, your turn.
As I see the druid come out the door, I will, my fingers will sparkle a bit, and I'm going to cast a radiant beam of energy at the druid standing next to Carla.
Go ahead.
19 to hit.
That hits.
All right, I cast Guiding Bolt. It was at first level.
Yep. I figured as much.
46. Okay. Ooh, 6. That's 14 points of damage.
Alrighty. Noted.
And he is glowing, so there is advantage on the next attack against him.
All right.
And then I'm going to just come around the table and use these chairs for like partial cover.
Sure, that's fine.
That's my turn.
There we go. All right, John.
I love it. So as this thing hits Carla and Casariel starts, moving to the side and shoots her bolt, John's just gonna run up and try to clothesline him with the weapon. And
At advantage.
with advantage. Thank you. I needed that. I rolled a 7 and 14, so I got an 18.
That hits.
Oh, thank you. Advantage. Amazing. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and that's 2. That's 19 damage.
Oh shit. Okay. So this is the night when 2 become 1, where you just hit his face and he becomes 1 with the pantry door.
Or 1 becomes 2.
Yeah, he's no longer a druid. You took the ID off. It's just a druid now. It's gone. Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
So yep, I've run up to here, and then now that it's gone it's part of the pantry. Carla, are you all right?
I'm good.
All right, and he's gonna barrel in. And did these things get pushed back, or are they still there?
Oh yeah, they got pushed back 10 feet, right?
Yes.
The one against, these 2 will fly against the bed because they're too small for that, but the other one will fly back 2. There we go.
2, 3. All right, so I'm gonna get right here and just wail on the first one in front of me, right here.
All right, go ahead.
Alrighty, and all right, you rolled good for me last time, so I'm not gonna roll you because you're due for a low one. I got a 12.
That misses.
Okay, so yeah.
So you hit the bed.
Oh, and then I get a bonus action attack because I killed the druid. So
yeah.
And then as
You're a killing machine nowadays, John. Holy dang.
Oh no, I'm not because I got a 13.
That misses.
Why won't you? Oh, it's not. It's down there. I hit the banisters twice. All right, that's my attack. That's my move.
Awesome.
Everything.
Carla.
In between these blights and this druid, so right here, Carla's going to pop up the cloud of daggers, and they're going to take 19 damage.
Both of the twig blights are just instantly vaporized. They're like wood pulp. The druid, how much was it?
19.
And there's no save against that, right?
No.
Nope.
I'm just gonna take it, baby.
He takes a couple of hits from the daggers.
Does it happen on their turn, or how does it happen?
Pops up.
Can you read it out?
Each side? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So you fill the air spinning daggers in a cube of 5 feet in each side, center on a point you choose within range. A creature takes it's 64 because I did it at a higher level. Slashing damage when it enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn, or when it starts its turn there. So it first entered it because I popped it there on my turn, a turn. that make sense?
When it enters the area on its turn the first time.
For a first time on a turn, or when it starts its turn.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, very cool. So you can just mull it back and forth between. Oh man, that's cool. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, by the text, I will allow that. That is
so cool.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
And then I am going to back the fuck up. For sure.
So I missed both times, and then the blights just are gone in front of me. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, it just sounds like a wood chipper. It's just
Yeah, we see I like daggers like spinning real fast, chopping them down.
God, what have you become? I love it.
The third twig blight that is still standing runs forward and lashes at you, John, with a double attack. Once for a 12 and once for a 20 dirty.
That'll hit. One hit.
It isn't too terrible though, but let me check. That would be a 2. Oh, it actually is terrible because it's part of the swarm. That would be 8 points of damage.
Ow.
Yeah. Whew. Could be worse though, but that's what it is. All right.
Yeah, no, that was
top it around. So I know what the spell said, but I will roll that the spell doesn't hit a druid twice, or the druid is in the cloud of dagger, but I won't roll that it's
within a
hit
round.
twice.
Yeah, it's in a round,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
So because that would be that's basically double that. That's too much. He won't move out of the way though. He will stand there, and he will cast something that might come very familiar to you guys: Thunderwave towards both John and Carla. As you are. Let me measure that.
Do I got partial cover of these? No, because it's a constitution on my own.
Yeah.
Is Thunderwave a 15-foot cube?
The one that I have is 5 foot.
I don't know,
But
but
he could be
whatever it
casting
is,
it at
it's
a
gonna be
different-
awesome. Like
the one he has
blowing.
is. Yeah, the one he has is 15 foot. However, partial cover doesn't really work with spells like this. But you know what? Give me a Constitution saving throw. Carla, you can do it with advantage because of the cover.
Oh, thank you.
I think that's a fair middle.
Does it hit the blight next to me?
It would hit anything.
It would hit anything. So yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's very angry.
All right, I got a 14 on my Constitution saving throw.
I got an 18.
You save. So it just it blows out the door, but you're fine.
Your hat
Carla.
gets further blown away.
Oh, I'm going to have to chase that later.
So you're being blown you're blown out the door as well. As for damage, you don't have anything against thunder damage, right?
No. Do I have fall prone or anything as well, or just
It doesn't say that, so
Okay.
you'll land on your feet. That is 11 plus 2. That is 13 points of thunder damage.
Yeah.
Yes. However, I also need to roll for the Wicklight. That rolls a natural 1.
Wow.
So he's how much did I say it was? 21, right?
It said 17 or 16. What damage did you just take, John?
Thunder. It was
No, what?
13.
I'm
13.
out.
Sorry, 13.
There you go.
Okay, so the twig is barely standing, but it's still there.
Hilarious.
Casario, your turn.
I watch. Did I just watch John get blown back inside the door?
Yeah, so
Yes.
John, I ran in, you hear thud, as he gets flown back.
Casario is standing very safely behind cover through a choke point and wonders if John forgot all his training. But she angles herself so she can see through the door, hoping that she's not going to hit her companions. Moonbolt at the druid.
Love it. Okay.
Okay, first one was a 9.
That misses.
24 for the second one.
That definitely hits.
All right, so that's 3 points of damage.
All right. That hits a vessel somewhere, and he starts bleeding. Anything else?
How bad do my friends look? How damaged?
Don't ask me.
I'm just barely bleeding. Like,
Yeah.
bloody.
Carla's got a few scrapes and bruises, but she's doing fine.
Yeah.
I will move back this way, out of the line of fire, and that is my turn.
Perfect. John.
I guess here.
He may not be a crate, and you may not be a bird, but he pulls out his wand of wonders.
Oh God.
He has to do something, and he points and fires.
All right, roll me a D100. Let's see what happens.
Let us see. D100. Here, you. All right.
We all love our new toys.
Oh, yes. All right, I have a 37. Let's see.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see. I don't know what it does.
You cast lightning bolt.
Oh,
Hell yeah!
All right. This will surely make him go away.
That is lightning bolt also at 3rd level, so that's an 8d6. If I don't make my dexterity save, which I believe, what's your dexterity save?
Crap.
It's a 15, right?
I think it's a 15 that for the wand.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obliterate me. I got a 4.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's 8d6. Roll them, buddy.
Okay. Good lord. All right. I only have 4d6 out, so I'm just gonna roll them twice. All right. I got 8. 13 for the first roll.
Yes.
And okay, that's a cocked die. It was a 5, but it was cocked. 8, 6, 14 for the second, so 27.
Okay. What happens?
I point my wand of crate removal at this druid. I'm like, druids are part wood, right? Crate. And have at you. And a bolt of lightning. So one of the blue balls on it, like, disappears. And then a bolt of lightning comes out the tip and just right into the center of him. And he flashes and his entire skeletal form is visible. And then I immediately, and step back.
And the druid just falls back onto the bed as if he is sleeping, slightly cooked. And as he drops down, you notice that the one twig blight that was still standing immediately drops to the floor as well.
See, if we get rid of whatever's controlling it, it'll stop.
I don't think this thing does what I thought it did.
Yes, we've explained to you what it does, and you're getting very lucky in terms of pointing it at enemies.
Nobody at any time explained to me what this thing does.
We had a whole moment in the last episode where we were like, please explain to John what it does. I identified it, I let you know.
I know what it does. It removes crates, it blows up birds, and apparently it electrocutes druids.
Sariel, how did you get anything done with him before? Okay,
I
Carla's
know what before we go there to know what's going on. And then I just tell him what to kill. He's very effective at that, as you see.
Oh yes, he's quite good at that. Carla is going to raid this room, investigation times 1,000, trying to get anything she can out of it, including the druid's bodies.
Go ahead and investigate the room. Go ahead and do an investigation check.
Lucky duck. That's a 12. Can I guide myself? Oh no, I haven't used my... Oh, bless is gone, yeah. Can I guide myself?
Sure.
Okay, that is going to be 16.
Okay. With the 16, you will find a couple of items in this room. First off, on the desk, you notice that there is a rolled up scroll, and with the knowledge of the arcane that you have, plus the fact that you can just read, you notice that this is a scroll of purify food and drink.
Excellent.
There's a large journal on the table as well. And if you look at it, at its cover, it's a Mardukov journal. Looking through the book itself, it contains a whole bunch of codes and a whole bunch of dates, as well as numbers and barrels. You have a feeling this is some sort of a delivery schedule or something, but as to what the codes mean, you notice that there is a pattern in it. You notice the code BV, BW, BT, K and S. Those are 5 separate codes. Those are the ones that you see the most in this book. As to what they mean, I don't think you have. Like, you can obviously guess, but there's no explanation to them in the journal.
Either areas or borrowers. Not borrowers, but buyers. And K could be Kresk.
What do you see, Carla?
Well, I see sort of the ledger for where the barrels are going, I think. I also found this scroll of purifying food and water.
Yeah.
So if they have poisoned vats, hopefully we'll be able to help that along. On the...
What do you suppose those codes mean?
I think the areas. I think, for example, K is quite a weird one. I think it could mean Kresk. V could be Barovia Village. Maybe. S could be Strahd. It could be a person or it could be a place. I'm not too sure.
I need to know this. If you intend to take the ledger with you, I do have a document, but I'll need to quickly prepare it. I will do that in our break. And
Carla
I
will
give
copy the codes.
plus what it says behind it. So, because it says like code, 4 barrels, and like there's a little info.
She'll do like the most recent page, like maybe the last like full page. She'll copy down into her journal really quick.
All right. Other than that, you do notice that in this journal, there are pages that are describing the seasons.
Exciting. Okay.
So in autumn, it says how well the winery did, etc. Do you want to copy that as well?
Yeah.
I'm just going to take the ledger.
I take the ledger.
That'll be a lot quicker because elsewise you're going to have to spend an hour in this room to copy it.
Okay, then fine. I'll take the ledger.
I don't know why. But, just in case.
If you will. I will make sure that you get the item through Discord from me.
Okay.
I'll do that in the break. The final thing that you see in this room is a wooden chest.
I'm going to try and open that, and if I can't, I'm taking out that magic key.
It is locked.
Magic key.
Make sure there's no traps, please.
Oh, you already tried to open it. And
I already tried to open it.
There's no trap that sprung.
Okay. So with the magic key that opens most doors, I'm going to give it a try.
Roll me a d20.
Woo, woo, woo. That's an 18.
It doesn't open.
Didn't open? Okay. Then I'm going to look around for a key. And I'm on the hunt.
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Why don't we take a rest? In here.
You want me to? Are you trying to get rid of it or open it? He holds up his little wand.
I'm trying to open it, and that's going to be a 16.
All right. With the 16, you're looking around for a key of sorts, and you open up some drawers, and you look around like, where would a key like that be? You look behind the mirror, and then you notice that in one of the bedposts, there is, like, the bedpost is just a little, like, off-center, a part of it.
Start fiddling with that to see if I can move it or twist it or...
It opens up and it reveals a key, and the key fits the wooden chest perfectly.
Boom. Open it.
In the wooden chest, you find 100 plus something. Hang on, let me just roll for that.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
This is 144 silver.
Better than nothing.
As well as 60 gold.
Okay.
And that's it.
Heck yeah.
Got it? Okay, cool.
There's just some paper and whatnot in there as well, but it doesn't seem to have any value to you.
Okay, I'm going to plant one of the keys on the bodies of the druids. With the druids' bodies, is there any indication of the gem, or is there just nothing on them?
You look thoroughly through their clothing, and you notice that they both have a quarterstaff with them, but they don't have any pack on them. Looking through their clothing, the pockets and whatnot, what they have some of nature's residue on them, if you will, but other than that, no sign of a gem.
Mm-hmm. Right. You mentioned taking a break, Azariel, but if the druids that took the gem, if we give them an hour, they'd have time to escape.
Did you say there was a window in the last room? Looking out over the vineyard?
Yes, and there's one over here as well. If you look like on the map, all the like the little blue lines that you see are windows. So every room has a window that looks out on the vineyard.
Can I look through that and see if I can still see the piles of leaves moving around in the vineyards?
Oh yes, you can.
Looks like we didn't get all of them. Yeah, we do. Time is of the essence. the longer we take, the more the damage those things do. I think we might have to forge forward.
I think you both need to heal up. You're not looking terrible, but you're not looking great. And if something hits you very hard, you'll be in big trouble.
Okay, I can heal myself. I'll do that.
I would like to remind you that Cover is your friend.
Cover is my friend, but he holds up his weapon and he says, I really can't hit things from far away.
No, but you can coax them through a doorway and then hit them when they come through. Isn't that fun?
It's not really my style, Xariel. I go in,
No,
I go to my problems.
I know. As she wipes blood off of his forehead and just like kind of rubs it back on his jerkin.
You mentioned
Whatever.
healing before.
Yes.
Did-
No, I can do that. Sure.
I cured wounds myself, and I added a bardic die to it, so that I got fully up again.
All right. As you guys take a break in this room, I think it might also be a good time for us to take a break ourselves.
Yep.
Seeing as it is about 2 hours in. So let's take a quick break. For those of you that are currently listening, we have a very cool thing for you. Like, other than the fact that you can always talk with us on Discord, of course, because when you're following us live, you can. However, during our break, we now also have a short recap of the last 22 episodes done by our very own Carla. So if you'd like to hear that, stick around for the break.
After the first 10 seconds of break, you will hear that. Or maybe 20.
Fair point.
All right.
Yep. So we will be right back.
All right. Thank you all. See you soon.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. We're back from our break, and I hope that you guys are too. So yeah, we got something. Before our break, we entered the winery. Well, the players entered the winery through a very careful use of stealth and summoning a baboon. Believe you me. But they actually got through to the winery unscathed and unnoticed. Within the winery, they went upstairs and encountered not one but 3 druids, which they have slain because, well, they attacked them, so it's only fair to attack them back. They're currently in the master bedroom of the upstairs area of the winery, and they are currently deciding on whether or not to take a short rest before continuing. And that is where we're going to start. So, my dear players, what are you going to do?
John's over by the window and looking out on the things sucking on the vines, and I'd like to keep going. I think we are under a bit of a time crunch, but I am feeling rather beaten down. You guys feel like we should take a rest here? It seems rather safe.
We can barricade the door. I understand. That would be...
Yeah, I think that. Sariel, you think we should take a rest? I think we can get away with it.
I just think you should be at full health moving forward.
Yeah, we need to save our strength for whatever comes next. So yeah, all right. I'm gonna move something in front of the door and sit at the foot of the bed.
All right.
While during the short rest, Carla's going to actually take that to do a seance in order to get back her fireball. But the way she's going to do it is she's going to do it over the chest of the dead druid on the bed to try and contact his spirit and bring it forward as well.
Oh wow.
Wow. Okay. Are we gonna do that by trying to pull his soul back into the world briefly, or do you want to use the Ouija board?
Use the Ouija board.
All right. Cool. Let's grab the Ouija board for that.
Yes.
Here we are.
So cool.
Ready when you are.
Are you still there? Are you still hanging around?
The token says yes.
What if it said no?
Then it will be a funny spirit.
Who is your leader? What's their name?
The token very slowly moves around.
Cannot tell me. Oh, that's rather inconvenient. Where is the gem? Do you know? Do you have it? Your people.
It takes a second, but you do notice that there is an essence still lingering. And as it takes a couple of seconds, the token once again starts to move over the board.
Will. It. To.
It spelled out, "We will take it to." And then it stops.
Do I feel the spirit sort of leave the board?
You feel that once it reaches the O, it's trembling as if it wants to continue, but it doesn't.
Stay with me. Tell me, make this your final action on Earth to right any wrongs you've done. Where will you take it? Yes?
You notice that instead of moving towards the yes or no option on the Ouija board, it actually spells out the letters Y-E-S.
Wonder if that's the name of their tree.
Sariel looks over and she says, no, it's Yester Hill. They told us that's where they were going. They're building the great wicker thing that's to animate it. That's why they want the gem. Remember?
As you mention the word Yester Hill, the token moves one more time towards the T and then stops.
Could also be spelling yesterday, I think. I'm not sure how that word is. Never mind.
How do we stop you? How do we stop it?
It moves towards goodbye, and you notice that the energy is gone. The spirit apparently too afraid, or maybe something else, to answer your question.
Its soul does try to leave, but the way Carla's magic works is that she takes these spirits, she kind of brings them and makes them a part of herself to manipulate it. So when she's doing the seance, what she's doing is sapping this energy to learn this spell that is usually unreachable for her. So its soul is trying to escape, but it is hers in some way, shape, or form.
All right, so are you forcing it to stay attached to the board?
Not attached to the board, but to her.
All right, I'll allow that.
Interesting.
We're back at the winery. In the bedroom, I believe you did decide on taking a short rest. Have you applied your bonuses and rolls and whatever you need to do in your short rest?
Yes.
All right, then the floor is yours. What are you going to do?
So we got our short rest and nothing came and attacked us. And
Well, you didn't look in the mirror, did you, Casariel?
my back is to the mirror. Thank you for asking. Very
In
much
that case,
to the mirror, and she will not look in it at all. And she's also not that close to it. She's going to stay at least 10 feet away from it.
right. In that case, nothing happened.
John looks straight at Casariel and then past her to the mirror and just, what's going on? Are you okay? You look nervous.
John, you see yourself in the mirror.
Do I see Casariel in the mirror?
Her backside.
Okay.
Yes.
Your armor looks good from the back, apparently.
What's the matter? Well, let's see. We're in the middle of a winery,
Check.
attacking a faction of Barovia that I don't know
Check.
if it's allied with the person that's got my mother or not.
Wait, what?
Yes, I'm scared. What?
Do you think the druids might have your mother?
I think I don't know, John. I don't know who has my mother. I don't know who they are allied with. I don't know anything. And so I am scared that we're making a grave mistake here. Yes, as I have expressed, but I think we have no other choice. I mean,
I feel like even if we approached as friends, they still would have attacked it. I mean, Carla tried to talk to it and immediately tried to strangle her.
It is true, we did try the path of least resistance.
yes, they oppose anyone who is a follower of a god and not of nature. So they will not like us.
Oh, but they didn't even ask whether or not we were. We existed and they attacked us. Well, they attacked Carla, and then I went golfing.
I'm gonna just raise my eyes to the circlet that's around his head that's got a bunch of moons on it.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna lower my gaze back down to his eyes.
No way to tell. No way to tell.
Casario, we're taught, and I haven't yet finished my oath, which is something I kind of regret at this point. But we're taught that we need to try to preserve the sanctity of night and preserve peace in the world. But I was also taught, Casariel, that if something threatens those around us, and if peace fails and hope recedes, darkness must fall. And these times, I don't feel like we tried peace. We tried hope. Neither work. I'm trying darkness now.
And I am here by your side as ever, John. I am just... You asked if I was scared, and I am.
You're right.
I'm nervous that we're making a mistake that's going to cost me a friendship with something that might be able to help me.
You're right. Well, I mean, maybe it could be like the Raven people. I accidentally killed one of them, and they're not killing us yet.
No, it's
Onward!
true. We're on the path now. We can't turn around, so no regrets.
All right. I'm going to come out and stand back and let Carla lead the way with her creepy hand.
Jeez Louise.
Casario, you being the last one to leave the room, what is your passive perception?
17.
All right.
I heard a click. I heard a click. Why did I hear a click? Hey, did we ever look at the pantry?
You did not check the pantry, John, and as you look into the pantry, you notice that it's stuffed full with food, most of it fresh.
Nope. John? No.
Oh, we're not here to eat, but maybe afterwards we could get a bite. The Mardikovs probably
Don't.
would be fine.
I am watching him like a hawk.
I closed the door.
Does he put anything in his pocket?
No. I closed the door.
And then
as
I
you're
stand
watching-
with my arms folded, and I watch him leave before me.
And as you watch him leave, you can't help but shake the feeling that something else was watching you as you exited the master bedroom.
Was it something that Blindsight would have seen?
No.
Okay, damn. All right. I have really bad perceptive reception, so. I'm not going to steal any of their food. That's not what I'm here for.
Oh, I don't care if you steal their food. I just don't want you to get poisoned.
Good point. Do you think the wine
Is poisoned?
you said that
Most assuredly. Yes,
you should probably do something about that.
we should. Yes. Yes. Where are we going next, by the way? Are we going upstairs or?
I look over to Carla, who's like actually doing things.
Carla's after opening the pantry with her skeletal hand at this point, ignoring the two of them.
The pantry swings open again, revealing a lot of food.
Oh, here. Oh, sorry, not the pantry. The
Oh,
table.
that. Oh, okay. In that case,
Sorry,
you do not
I
open
misspoke.
that.
Yeah.
All
Sorry.
good. You notice that there is another hallway down there with one door at the end.
Alrighty.
Hop on out and start walking and see if the other two notice.
Yeah, following you.
There's one wooden window that looks out over those 4 fermentation vats again, and it seems that nothing has changed. You see a small bundle of twigs lying dead on the ground there, but other than that, nothing changed.
John just sort of mouths, sorry.
The little hand opens the door.
The door opens, and behind that door, you find the upper loading docks of the winch. Yes. So when you were downstairs, you saw the cart that had a rope with a hook hanging down. This is the upper part of that, and you see in the middle a opening where the winch is hanging down from, and you see the cart below. There is wooden planks around it supporting to the sides where you can walk, so you can basically lift the barrels up and put them down here. Down the hallway towards the south, you see that at the very end of that, I'll reveal all of that, towards the end of that, you also notice something spiral, but it doesn't seem like a staircase. It looks like a ramp.
A ramp. Okay.
This is well-engineered building. I've only seen things like these on like big docks and things. They're well. These guys are doing well.
Appears so. Will we head down? There seems to be nothing here. And I feel like this goes out into the area where there were a bunch of those horrible little twigs, so we can go down the other stairs.
Is that a slide?
It might be a
basically
barrel.
is.
Yeah, it's a barrel slide down to the bottom where the loader happened to be, so I think it would be best if we went the other direction and went down.
Fine.
We're just going to head back towards the other staircase we passed to go down that.
So you don't open the door over here on this side?
On this side?
There's also a door that opens back into the fermentation vat area.
No, I think we're good.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, we saw through the window that it was just the fermentation vat area.
Yep.
Should we not?
What?
Should we not purify the vats now?
Carla, you want to? How do we do that?
We scroll.
And if we're going downstairs, we'll be near them as well. We'd be able to use the scroll near them.
All right, yeah. I mean, we should definitely do that. Nobody should die by poisoning. That's a horrible way to go.
Like if we were standing up over that balcony, would I be able to purify them from up there?
I'm not sure about the range. Let me check.
If it's anything like the spell, it's only got a 10-foot range.
Yep, 10-foot range.
So we essentially have to go one by one or something like that, or.
So, yeah,
I
I
don't know
suppose.
how that could hurt us now, unless it was.
So you want to go downstairs? He gestures to the spiral staircase to the right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
We're not going to just peek and see what's up. I again think it's down that we need to go, but I'm just making sure before we head by that. All right.
I think he looks down the hallway and goes, I think we've pretty much been everywhere up here. I didn't see any more druids in there unless they can turn themselves into a rocking horse, which I took care of that. So do you want to go around to the other side of the where we came up the first time, or do you want to go down the spirals?
That's up the staircase. That you're on,
does this?
It is not.
No,
There is no
down?
up. This goes down. There is no up.
Oh, I understand.
Coolsies. Yep. So back down to where we came from.
All right, through the small spiral staircase that you're standing next to right now.
I believe. John goes on.
Yay. You go downstairs, and let me move your tokens, but you end up in what seems to be a barrel storage area.
Oh, interesting.
The barrels over here look familiar, as you've seen these in the inns that you've visited so far. All of them have a label on it of Wizard of Wines, and they seem to be, well, empty, as this is a storage area.
Oh, for just barrels.
Now, this doesn't look familiar to me.
Downstairs, this is bad. This is where all the blights are. We don't want to be here. Come, back up we go.
Hang on, and he opens the door to the right. This looks more familiar. This is where we were.
That isn't a door that opens towards the fermentation vats. You're still firmly within the building.
Right, yeah, this is where we came in. Where are we trying to go? I thought we were trying to come and go downstairs.
Yeah, underneath, I thought, but perhaps not.
I thought we were trying to purify the wine. Carla, are we? Oh, yeah. Oh, there she goes. And he follows her.
Yeah, I'll go over and I'll try to purify the wine. I'll stand as close as I can between them to get that 10-foot range. And
So usually when you use a scroll like this, the scroll will basically lose its magical power. But unless, I don't know if you read the scroll thoroughly or if you just try your luck. But it seems that the spell scroll actually has multiple charges to it.
Interesting.
so if I can see that it's still got a little bit of juju left from like my arcane knowledge of scrolls, I'll head over here and do the same thing.
Perfect. It'll allow you to purify all 4 of the vats, and whether or not they needed purifying, at least right now, it seems that the vats have been purified.
One sec. Carla, do you think the barrels could have been tampered with? And he's gonna walk over to the barrels.
They're empty. They're storage ones.
I'm gonna
Right?
shake one of the barrels. Is there liquid inside?
No, they're completely empty.
Okay. Ah, okay. Never mind. Cool.
Is there a tap on these barrels?
There's not. There's not. All the way from the top, there is like a closed lid, and that goes into a system that allows you to tap from it.
If we use the winch to take one of these barrels upstairs, we could ride it down the slide.
Let me reiterate that, by the way. Are you asking this because you want to try the wine to see if it's okay?
Mm-hmm.
In that case, there is like a little testing valve on it, yeah. So that will pour a little bit of wine out.
Suspicious.
I mean, she
Never
purified it.
trust your DMs, guys. Never trust your DM.
That was way too easy. Oh wait, did you want to drink some of it? Hold on, there magically
Oh, in
appears.
that?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can do
Feel
that.
free. It's good.
I already said it though.
These doors over
I
here
already
are
said
chained
it,
up.
so-
Oh, okay, never mind. If you want to have a little glass of wine. I mean, we're not done yet.
As to your point, John, yes, these doors are chained up, but they're chained up on your side, which means you can remove the chains if you'd want to, thereby unlock.
Is this
Put my
also a
things
door?
In the room that you're standing in right now, there is a room directly north of the staircase, which seems to be chained up. Right next to it, a little bit more to the west, there's a double door, which also is chained up. If you go all the way to the east of that, there's 2 doors, which you just came through. That's the barrel storage. And there's another door more to the east, which is the one that you came through in the first place. That is the door towards the loading area. From there, if you go towards the south, there's 2 more doors leading to a hallway that you haven't been yet. And behind the stairs, there's also a door into a room that you also haven't been yet.
All right. We know that this is on the ground floor, right? We know outside of the ground floor there are
Lots of bads.
blights, very bad. Right? So are we really curious what's happening in these rooms surrounding
course
that?
not.
I mean,
No.
surely there's... Right. So let's go back up and then all the way underneath the building. Do you think?
Underneath
What?
the building? What do you mean underneath
Yeah,
the building?
there was a spiral staircase going down, right? Or did I mess that up again?
There's one over here on the bottom left that presumably goes down here, as far as we know.
You haven't checked yet, though.
Do you want to check the staircase on over here? He gestures into the corner where we saw the staircase. Because you make a great point. It would be pretty foolish to unlatch these chains while we don't know what's over there. I'm gonna follow Carla. The staircase you were talking about is over here, Casariel, if you think we should go.
The one before only went down into the storage room, but there is another one off to the side that we saw up. But we don't know if it just brings us down to this. We'd have to double check it. We asked them if there was an underneath, and they didn't give us a specific answer, so I don't know.
As far as I'm concerned, there's only a few more doors, a few more
door open
places.
The door opens.
God damn it.
And behind it, you see a spiral staircase that goes both up and down.
There we go.
If we must.
Sorrel just grins at John. She's not going to say anything. She's
If there ever was a told you so.
very smug.
She's right most of the time. I don't know why I even bother.
So you guys go downstairs?
Yep.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Stealthily.
The map is loading. It is completely dark. That is correct because I have to put something in place. So give me 1 second.
No problem.
Side.
You descend the spiral staircase and feel that musty, cold air of a cellar.
The atmosphere just got a bit creepier.
Is it pitch black dark?
It's pitch black dark down here. There should be light, you would think, but there isn't.
He can sense Carla and Casario, but he's just, as long as you guys are not rushing around.
I have that lantern.
No need. I will place my hand over both of their eyes, and you guys can both now see in the dark.
Perfect.
Ah.
That is fine. In that case, you can see that this is indeed a wine cellar with some wine racks. It's musty down here. There's some cobwebs. And as you descend the stairs, you hear a couple of voices.
Right.
Do you stop to listen? Or do you stop to look?
Listen.
Okay.
I'm gonna freeze these as they can freeze.
As you stop to listen, you hear a voice calling out, "Where is the gem? I know it was here. Who took it? Where is it?" A voice replies to that. Very softly spoken, very feminine, saying, "It should have been here. I don't know where it went. I am so sorry." The voice sounds particularly familiar to Casario. And the reply to that comes as you hear, "We will see about that. You have failed me today." Do you look around the corner?
I'm looking around the corner. Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second. You look around the corner and you see the rest, now that you can see in the dark, which, by the way, brilliant move. You see the rest of an old wine cellar that is connecting towards, it seems, another side, which might also be another wine cellar, but you can't really see that. In the middle of the two places, however, two people are standing there conversing with one another. One, you might have guessed, is the Ancient and the Land. Lord Strahd is conversing down here. The person next to him is a woman with fair skin and beautiful, long, golden hair. They are deep in conversation. What do you do? Do you need a break, Asariel?
John's gonna look down and see, and then look up at Cassariel and just like sort of, how's she doing?
They look alike.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to step through them and push them back up the stairs out of view.
Okay.
And just do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to keep my eyes down so I can see, but like try to keep most of me hidden.
Strahd and Celisaria are still in active conversation, and you notice an apologetic tone from Celisaria and a more demanding and angry tone from Strahd.
Saril is going to gather every bit of strength she has inside of her. Clear the worry from her face and casually walk towards the two of them.
Okay.
With her chin high. Every bit of her Aesmar lineage guiding her footsteps. She is the portrait of grace.
Beautiful. As you approach the middle, Strahd turns around and locks eyes with you and says, "It seems we are not alone anymore. We will continue this conversation now. I need answers." He turns and lifts his hand, and as he does, a door opens next to him in the wall. And he walks through, pulling Celisaria behind him.
No. I'm gonna run to it and bang on the door. I know. I think she thinks she knows what that was, but
as you walk towards that door and you look through, you're blasted by like a colorful sphere at the end of this room. And you see Strahd and Celisaria defiantly moving towards it and stepping into it. You hear a very faint sound as they're both teleported away. The portal itself, as it was touched by them, starts to shimmer and shrink inch by inch.
Going to
What do you
run
do?
to it.
The portal is still there. You got 30 seconds.
I'm following your lead,
Make your choice.
Cesaro.
Following your lead.
27.
I'm gonna look
20
back
seconds.
at the other two, and I'm gonna just move closer to it. But I'm gonna walk
15
carefully.
seconds. I'm not kidding.
Cassariel, we need to move now if you decide.
10 seconds. 9.
We have your back.
8.
You've been looking for her.
7. 6.
Cassariel.
Gonna do it.
5. You jump through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All three of you get through the portal. You go through the portal, and a sickening feeling of teleportation hits the three of you. I believe this is the very first time all three of you are going through a teleportation device.
Yes.
It nauseates you, it sickens you, and it knocks all three of you out.
Not before
The three of you. Fair. John throws up, and then you get knocked out.
I
The
swear
three
I
of
have a good
you
constitution.
are whisked away into the slumber of, well, being knocked out. And time passes. And some more time passes. And some more time passes. Until the three of you slowly wake up again. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my esteemed pleasure to announce the fact that we are the very very first group that are allowed to use this map. This is GM Andy's rendition
Wow.
of Castle Ravenloft.
Oh my god!
Feel honored.
It's incredible.
The three of you wake up in an all too familiar place, standing in a broken down chapel with pews and cobwebs all around you. As you stand up, you notice that your weapons and equipment are gone, a tradition that seems to haunt you
God damn it.
in Barovia. You also notice that your normal clothing has been replaced. John, you're wearing a dark blue frock coat with silver filigree, black pants, and neatly brushed black boots. Carla, you're wearing a wool dress in purple with an applique in golden embroidery of a violet flower. And Casariel, you're wearing a faux gem studded evening gown in light purple with an off-the-shoulder double trim at the top. All three of you look equally amazing.
Play. Yes.
Slay. Slay.
As you take this in, the three of you, you also hear a soft murmuring in the chapel. The floor is yours. What do you do? Welcome to Castle Ravenloft.
Point of clarity. Am I still a warlock / paladin?
Yes. Nothing changed with that other than the fact that you have lost all your weapons and equipment, but you're still very much who you are.
Well, there's a bit of a wrinkle there as I
fair
hold
enough.
my hand together and the weapon returns.
Fair enough. In that regard, fair point. Everything that the weapon is supposed to do with you is currently no longer active.
Okay.
You are John.
I feel
We have no shield, no armor,
Nothing.
no.
You
Okay.
got your gown, and that's it.
It's beautiful.
Alrighty.
That's
My-
a bummer.
My wand of druid electrifying is gone.
I'm sorry.
No. It's
Don't
the
be
first
sorry,
time we've
this
seen
is-
her. This is the biggest lead we've had. She's most of the reason we're here.
She didn't even say anything to me at all.
Did she even see you?
I don't know. He did.
I'm sure if she saw you, she would have. We have to find her.
Your memory is foggy, Casariel, but give me a perception check. Let's see how well you can. Like, I don't want to call. Good. I don't want to call this history because it's not that long ago. All right. With your dirty 20, you will recall trying to pierce back in your mind. Like, did she see you? Strahd did, and he very carefully positioned himself in such a way that your mom did not. And since you didn't speak up, she also didn't hear you.
What do we do now?
Find her.
We can't. We can. This is quite a bit different than fighting a druid.
No.
Why are we in these clothes?
Is it like one of those dreams again?
Right.
This
Yes.
looks like that place where we found the statue, the icon that shocked
The
me
book.
in the book.
All right.
I'd say that we're guests of Strahd, and I don't know if trying to find armaments would be very
Carla.
guest-like.
I know that your feelings toward him are.
For your mother, I will put them aside. I will put them.
Please.
And also, I could do nothing like this, but if we could see her, have her as an ally, even in these lands, that would be huge.
I saw her. Wasn't she beautiful?
Looks just like
Beautiful
you.
thing I've ever seen. Oh, that's not what I meant thinking.
I know,
That's
but yes.
sort of why I always look in mirrors. It's not
my own vanity. Just because it's the only time I ever see her. Which I won't do anymore.
No, you
Don't tell me that it didn't hint at it, you know?
Casario, this is why we're here. This is why we went on that blasted trip with Lungari. But I'm glad this is the reason why we came here, and I'm proud of you. You knew.
So she has left this land once. Maybe she could help us do it again.
All right.
Well, first we have to find her.
Yes. I'll just start heading slowly towards the center of the room.
As I said earlier on, you heard murmuring in the chapel. And as you walk from the corner that you were lying down, you see at the altar a person that is murmuring in prayer. It's a familiar face.
Father Donovan?
Tweedledee?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Father Donovich.
Was he the guy from St. Andrel or Barovia?
Barovia.
Is he the guy who's, I think, son?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Father Donovan, hello. Good to see you. How are you?
John, mwah, I love you. Your role play is just great. Okay, so you say that. And Father Donovich just jumps up from his prayer, looking at the three of you, being like very, like, with a scared look in his face. And he says, welcome to the chapel of the Morning Lord. Please, can I was just about to pray.
He still hasn't cleaned up, I see.
We're working on that. The chapel needs consecration first. It's important to have prayer in a place that is dedicated to the Morning Lord, after all.
What are you doing here?
I'm praying.
What are you doing here?
I'm praying.
Who's keeping track of the chapel back in Barovia? The small Barovia village.
My congregation can take care of themselves for a little while. It was needed to have my services deployed over here, so I will be back in my congregation as soon as I'm done consecrating this place, yes.
You seem nervous,
consecrating this
Father.
place?
I'm trying. Someone needs to. The Lord of the Land asked me to, and of course I comply.
Do you need any help?
Oh.
I'm fine, thank you. I believe they're waiting for you.
Who?
Strahd is he's waiting for you.
Where?
Sorry, I was just gonna.
Sorry.
Heading out.
Oh.
I don't know. This way.
he points at the large double doors like in front of him. Please, just they'll probably like. You look very nice, by the way. Please, just.
Hi, Father Donovich. I hope that your chapel at home is less messy than it was. And he walks out.
Blessed be the Morning Lord.
All right, off we go.
All right.
Are there broken pieces of wood around?
Why?
I just
Hilarious.
am a
We're here as guests.
trained fighter, and I just was wondering if there's any wood. Also,
sure.
secondary question, which precedes the first, is there anywhere in my fucking fabulous dress that I might hide some broken wood?
Not in your dress, but if you want to put your hair up with a piece of wood, I think that would work.
Oh, my hair up? No, come on. That's the craziest thing you've ever said.
I don't look in mirrors because I'm vain. I look because of something else. Hair up? What are you talking about?
This would be the
Crazy
one way to
person,
actually
yeah.
hide a wooden stake that
was
could potentially
amazing.
kill a vampire. Are you going to put it in your hair?
Well, you could enthrall a
No.
vampire with that blowout. Let's be
Absolutely
real.
not. Let's go.
I imagine we're guests here. I was thinking about that, looking for a way to, protect ourselves, but
I mean, Cassandra, you know me, like that is the best I can do with putting your hair up because it is an evening gown and that obviously doesn't have any pockets.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I
haven't dressed.
I'm always with you, but I
Pocket
can't.
Dresses.
At this point, I can't.
I haven't dressed this
Fair
froofy since before the academy or before the Silver Star.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I've never
It
dressed up
is.
in my life.
Again, like just quickly out of game. Andy, like I don't know if DM Andy is currently listening to the episode or if he's gonna watch this on YouTube or whatever. But dude,
Oh,
this
good.
No.
this is art in its truest form. This map is so pretty. The doors open into a extended hallway with statues on both sides covered in cobwebs. An all too familiar sight as you've been here before.
Just gonna keep walking down confidently.
And as you move through the hallway, you can't shake the feeling that you're being watched. The statues following your every move.
I pay
Tyler would
no
like to
no
play with
notice.
them.
Of course you don't.
I wasn't thrown down a staircase by a statue before. What are you talking about? That's poppycock.
You hold no power here.
We're here as guests, obviously. So,
Another set of double doors are over here, which I don't think you can see yet, can you?
no, we can't actually see any doors. So.
My bad. But you are opening them, and as you do,
Oh, we can. They're small.
Oh my goodness, beautiful.
the doors open up into the central hallway that, again, you have seen before. As you might notice, you hear faint organ music playing in the background. I think at least, but
Yeah,
you should
definitely.
be hearing this. Wonderful.
I'm going to follow my ears. Which direction is it coming from?
It is definitely coming from the south, and as you enter this room, from the staircase to the north, Rahadin enters the area and says, "It is good that you are here. Please proceed to the south, towards the dining area. They're waiting for you."
Do you not have dusters?
He just stands there smiling at you.
I imagine a place that he walks off grumbling. I imagine a place this big has a butler that can, get rid of the cobwebs, but what do I know?
Perla is going to look at him and say, "Thank you, General." Does he give any reaction to that?
He just smiles at you.
Okay.
Oh, right. They're already walking ahead. Says, "Oh, yeah, never mind."
You can very clearly hear the organ music coming from the west side of where you're standing right now.
I feel like this is like theme music for some anime. There's a. I'm sorry.
You open up both of the doors.
Yes.
What's hair?
Beautiful. I'm just going to switch something out because it's going to be too annoying if to constantly listen to it like that.
Yeah, I feel
It's
like
just a little
Cassariel walks up. If it's double doors, she's just gonna pull both handles and just push them both open.
You can use
Perfect.
Can you use thaumaturgy without material? Because you could totally just
Ooh,
snap.
that's
Yeah.
cooler.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cooler. Yeah, Cassariel just stands in front of them and they both just open. Totally. Way
That's
cooler.
awesome.
All right, I just switched out the music from like a localized thing to like the actual playlist
Awesome.
because that's easier to control. It was just there to entice you to like, hey, there's music coming from somewhere else.
I love it.
As you open the doors, oh my god, here we go, guys. Dinner with Strahd. The door opens and you see a beautifully appointed dining room with a large table and places set for 9 people. Obviously, at the end of this room, you notice a gigantic organ that looks absolutely beautiful. The organ itself, the woodwork, the stone carving around it, this thing is a piece of art, if not also an instrument. On the bench itself, you see the back of Strahd von Zarovich playing this organ to its heart's content. Other than him, the room isn't empty. There's people around. He plays a little while longer, but somehow you feel that he knows that you are at the entrance. And as you look into the room, you notice that the table is indeed set for 9, Strahd included, the head of the table. Most of the seats seem occupied, save 3 seats. You notice Irina sitting near the organ, listening to the music that is being played. Next to her, Morgantha is seated in her elderly lady form. She's eating an apple, and as she looks over her shoulder at the three of you, she gives you a warm smile, but you catch the mocking look in her eyes.
John's eyes flash black for just a split second. It's not an Escher thing, it's just a...
I love it. The next two chairs next to them are empty. On the opposite side of the table, you spot a handsome-looking Vistani who looks your way. His eyes lock onto Carla in particular, and you two share a moment, as you have done before. Whether or not it has the same emotional depth in accompanying this moment, I will leave up to you, Carla.
It's always awkward to have dinner with an ex.
Next to him, you spot a lady dressed in a militaristic armor. She has long golden hair and a face that is fair, though pale, and slightly gaunt. You feel like you might have seen her before.
We definitely have.
Beside her, a gentleman sits with an equally beautiful face and medium long whitish hair. He seems relatively young and has piercing light blue eyes. He dabs the corner of his mouth with a cloth napkin from the table, and his gaze turns to you. His clothing looks immaculate, with black and gold trim frock coat and a puffy necktie. The final chair next to him sits empty as well.
This is the most ambitious crossover since Infinity War.
I know. Strahd very slowly finishes his playing on the organ. And he turns around. He looks at the three of you and he says, "And there we have our final guests for tonight's dinner party. Welcome to Castle Ravenloft. So good of you to come. Please, sit."
I slowly walk around the table, glaring at Morgantha as I go, but also keeping an eye on Arena. How's Arena? Is she staring at Strahd like she's possessed in some way, or is she looking around in like everyone else?
Give me an insight check.
All right. Super great at insight. I'm the best at insight. I got a 9.
She seems like she is pretty content in being here.
Oh no. Is there anything copper on the table? Anything at all?
I'm quickly looking if there would be anything validating. No. No, it's silverware.
Very well. And then I'll turn to the... Oh, no, never mind. I don't think it's actually nice to try and charm these people. Never mind.
Morgantha?
Okay, go on.
He sits down
John.
next to her.
Rahadin is standing in the door opening, and as all three of you take your place, he makes a subtle bow and he closes the doors behind you and moves off, possibly to get the next course.
Oh, we might be it.
What all is on the table right now?
The table itself is set, and there is food on the table. So basically what you're seeing right now is definitely there. There is like chicken, there's some bread, there are some pastries, there is a bit of everything. There's a distinct lack of pies,
Thank you.
but the rest is there.
Do the other people already have food on their plates, or are they all waiting?
They're waiting for you.
I'm gonna eye the chicken hungrily.
Strahd looks at all of you and says, "Please, please, feast upon whatever is on the table. After all, this dinner is for all of you. And now that we have assembled, dinner is officially opened. Please, help yourselves."
Is any of it made of children? He's gonna look over at Morgana.
Morgana grins and just eats her apple.
He's gonna look back at Strahd. Is this real?
Question of reality is an interesting question indeed, but yes, this should provide you sustenance, as would normal food.
Is it children?
It is not.
Oh, okay. He grabs
You
it
have-
like it's chicken.
You have nothing to fear here. We are amongst peers, friends, and acquaintances. Now,
Can lean over to Casaro. We're peers.
I understand that you three perhaps have many questions, but please, have your dinner, stay seated. We have waited for your arrival for some time now, and we would like to get this dinner underway. We can speak more as you have your food.
Very well. And Kyla's going to like look at Arena and try and catch her eye and give her like a wave.
Okay. Let's see if she catches your... she does. And while she's eating, she will just wave back at you. Kind of like, hey, good to see you again.
She'll give like a subtle like thumbs up, thumbs down kind of gesture towards Strahd a little bit like...
And she just nods back at you like that.
Does message require material components? I don't know if that's...
I need a copper wire. That's why I was looking for copper.
Damn. Oh, man. That would have been cool.
Are we not missing someone at the table, my lord?
The table is set for the people that are here. Who are you asking about?
Oh, well, I should very much like to see my mother.
Ah, yes. I saw you back in the winery. You see, I had to run an errand together with Celisariel, and unfortunately she was unable to complete her mission. We had a little difference of opinion and decided to return to the castle. It seems you decided upon the same.
Oh, yes. I had been meaning to speak with you, actually, about the winery.
Yes?
Yes. You see, we had the hardest time deciding whether to go in or not, because we weren't sure if it was something you'd wish us to do or not.
The winery is an interesting place in my lands, especially pertaining the gemstone that you have been sent by the Martikovs to recover. You see, I believe that these nasty druids from Yester Hill may have acquired it. If you could be so kind as to return the gem to me, I will grant you a safe passage from Barovia. Perhaps these Martikovs will know how to guide you to Yester Hill. Know that the Martikovs cannot be trusted, but they might owe you now that you've helped to clear out at least some of the winery.
When you say from Barovia, you mean back home? To Neverwinter?
Is that not what you want?
Very much like that.
Perhaps that would be possible.
Well, what do you need the gemstone for, if you don't mind me asking, my lord?
I don't mind you asking. I understand your inquisitive nature, Carla. You see, the gemstones are part of the crown jewels of this land. They are very much my possession, if you will, and they have been stolen from me. I simply require them back.
The way the Martikovs talked, it seemed as if it was a gift that was given to them.
Would a thief not make it sound like it is theirs instead of not?
Yeah, they also mentioned it keeps the winery alive. How would your people get wine then if
It is
the
a
winery is dead?
A preposterous lie. The only reason the winery is currently suffering is because of those druids that are misusing their powers to force the winery into destruction. If we defeat the druids, the winery will flourish, and I will have my gem.
Oh.
That makes sense.
I feel like we're talking so much about ourselves and the druids. Who is at this table? Introduce your guests. We've met a couple of them, and she's going to lean her head over to look at the guy that she slept with the night before and kind of like give him a wave.
He is very interested in his food at the moment. Strahd gives you a grin, actually, and he says, "Oh, why not? Of course, you all know my beloved Irina. Next to her, we have Morgantha, of course, and on the opposite side of the table we have Zintori, representing the Vistani, next to Valaki. Then we have Alexandra Gwillem, one of my faithful lieutenants."
We fought with her. Yeah, she's cool.
"Did you, John?"
I'm gonna take my hand and just place it on his forearm and just pat it, but I'm not gonna look at him.
Go on. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt, sir.
"It is all good, John. You see, John Verenthal, I am glad you joined us. Your name precedes you. The name Verenthal holds certain authority. I wish you could have met your brother when he... Well,
Wait,
he
you
too,
knew
of
James?
course. He too carried the same name with great honor.
Wait,
And duty-bound honor is one of the highest virtues, is it not?
how do you know James? I mean, he was a hero back in Neverwinter, but you know, how do you know James?
John, I remember the days when I was on conquest to save these lands from the tyranny of Argynvost. From what I gather, you learned of him as well, have you not? Argynvost, the evil dragon overlord, now forever vanquished from these lands. His reign finally over, so the people of Barovia would be free to live their lives. And freedom is important, as it was to your brother, is it not?
He was very honorable, and duty sort of bound him. He was a hero, but he fell in battle. I haven't. We don't really know what happened to his regiment, but
Your brother
he was
valued freedom above everything. And Zintori just cuts in with that, and he says, "We Vistani value our freedom equally, my lord. We are forever grateful."
right.
Morgantha cuts in and says, "As do we, free to serve the people of Barovia and to help them sleep easy at night." Strahd ends that and says, "Freedom under my rule to spend their life in a fruitful manner indeed." The young gentleman across you, John, joins in and says, "Well, what is freedom, if there is still one who pulls the strings, my liege?" Strahd looks at him and says, "I will pretend you did not utter those words.
And when he says
And
that,
would
I'm gonna
implore
look
you
at
to
him.
consider... I would implore you to consider your next remark carefully. Know your place."
When he says
you
that,
are?
pull the strings. John's gonna stare at him. What did
And
you say?
he carefully avoids your gaze, and he's just looking at Strahd.
Karen's going to cut in then and be like, "I don't believe we've met." To the man who just said that.
"Oh, I don't believe we have," he says. And he continues looking at Strahd.
Then I look at Strahd and I'd be like, "Oh, would you... it seems he wants you to introduce him, my lord."
Strahd looks at the two of you and he says, "Oh, yes, I skipped him. That is Escher, one of my faithful servants, if you will."
You see, like, the smile crack on Carla's face as she turns towards him. And really, like, takes him in.
Strahd turns again to John and he says, "Unfortunately for you, John, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting James. But I have heard of him. If you wonder about if he came through my lands, I will unfortunately have to say that I do not know. However, if you'd permit me to express my personal assessment, I feel that he did. I heard of his name from the Vistani."
I'm gonna look over at the guy that I can't remember his name, who Carla was with. And does he like confirm, or does he look at me at all?
He does, and if you do, you want to ask him if he knows? Because
Do you know my brother?
Centauri just shakes his head and he says, I haven't heard of him, but there's a lot of Vistani out there. I'm sorry.
Look back at Strahd. Look back at Escher.
Anyone for more wine?
Yes. Sarah's kind of also looking around to see, like, she's looking for her mom. Like, in, like, the corners of the room, or...
As you're looking around, at some point during your looking around, you notice that Strahd is just staring at you. Because he notices that you are searching. As you lock eyes with him, he says, Oh, Cassariel, you must have hundreds of questions, and having to wander around, not having them answered, must be such a burden. Believe me, I do sympathize with you, and now that you have seen your mother, I do understand your burning wish to see her. Please, let me state that I do not wish ill upon you, and I can only hope that I can expect the same courtesy. But as Lord and Protector of these lands, I have hard decisions to make and actions to take in order to ensure this land's safety from those who would threaten it. Your mother understood this some time ago and has graciously helped me thus far. At the moment, she is indisposed as she has an incredibly busy schedule, but of course I can make sure to arrange a meeting between the two of you. She does not know yet that you have come to Barovia, but you have my word that I will let her know. Of course, if you could, in return, help me with that small favor, that would certainly be appreciated.
You mean the gem?
Yes, my crown jewels. It will certainly make your mother and your father proud.
Father?
Farron, isn't it?
Yes.
Ah, yes. Farron, a tragic death that was both unforeseen and unpreventable. If memory serves, he was given a proper place befitting a man of such devotion. I believe in the graveyard of Argynvostholt.
If we go back to the winery and get your gem?
The gem is long gone from the winery, for if it was not, your mother would have been able to obtain it for me. I'm afraid that these filthy druids have taken it back with them to Yesterhill. As I said, the Martikovs should be able to guide you to where that is. Retrieve it for me, and in the meantime I can make sure that I can get a meeting for you and your mother.
I see. Sarah's going to just lean forward just a little bit past John and look from Morgantha to Irina and then back to him. You've many allies in this land, do you not, my lord?
Allies, acquaintances. One in my position must hold all contacts dear to make sure that this land runs smoothly as it does.
So Escher,
gaze very slowly. Oh, go ahead.
So Escher, what do you do in these lands?
Oh, I do a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. I help my liege in whatever he needs.
If we ever needed to find you for a little bit of this and that, where could we go?
I can't imagine that you would need my services personally, but in case you do, I'm pretty sure that we can meet up in the castle somewhere. If, of course, my liege would be okay with that. he says as he makes like a curtsy while he's sitting. Strahd just grins at this.
You're a lot less bold in person. And he's going to look back at Strahd and be done with him.
Roll me a perception check.
I got a 12.
All right. This being the first time that you sort of hint at the fact that you know each other like from before today, you do notice that there is a very subtle worry on his face. Briefly.
Does he like glance at Strahd in when he's worried, or does he glance towards me?
No, he glances at Strahd. Strahd's gaze turns towards Carla.
My liege.
Carla. What a peculiar specimen you are, Carla Lilacart. Interested in the paranormal. And a reporter for the... Was it the Lavender Journal? The Violet Gazette?
My lord.
Yes.
Have you read it?
Forgive me. Unfortunately, the subscription options for that newspaper seem not to have reached my castle just yet.
Oh, well, when I finish my special on Barovia, I'll make sure to send it to you. I'm sure you'll love it.
Wonderful, wonderful. You are an investigator through and through, and you have shown that quite successfully thus far. I must commend you for how serious you take your job. Your investigations have not gone unnoticed either. My connections in the Akarin Isles tell me that you are following a series of disappearances there. Perhaps I can help you on your way with that investigation when you get back to it. I do like to support good investigative journalism.
Oh, well, it is rather strange, whole battalions going missing in an island offshore. I'm sure if you have anything that you could provide for it, it would be very interesting, though I must say, my lord, I did intend for the Acarine Isles investigation to be my grand piece, my claim to fame with the Violet Gazette, but I think everything that's going on in Barovia is so fascinating. Do you know what this land has to offer in terms of the supernatural? I think it will be my jewel when I tell the world of it.
I believe I have seen parts of that, but I am sure that you will give a much more detailed report on that than I would ever be able to give.
Of course, a personal interview would be wonderful, but I would hate to take time out of your day.
It's understandable. And would that be an interview just with me or also with Irina? Forgive me for asking, but I have heard that you do have a hard time with my decision to request Irina by my side. Know that this decision finds mutual understanding. I will agree that my method was somewhat rash. I know my flaws. I have never been quite the romantic knight in shining armor. Still, Irina is happy to be here, safe and sound. Are you not? And you see Irina nod with a smile on her face, seemingly content with the protection and affection given by Lord Strahd.
Like, under the table, Carla is, like, gripping her hand, and then she looks at Strahd and she says, in my investigations, sometimes the worst monster I encounter is that of man. You can understand that I do get quite protective over people, as long as it's her decision, fully and completely, with a clear mind. Absolutely. All I want is her happiness.
It is very commendable that that is the way that you see things. And yes, we do seem to be more alike than what you would think, in that I also agree that the best thing for Irina is that what she wants herself.
Yes.
Well, she does. Who would not?
Exactly. A toast to that, and he raises his glass.
But in regards to the interview, it would be with yourself, of course. You are the master of this land, and I'm doing a piece on it. I'm sure the people would love to hear your opinion.
I'm sure we could arrange something.
Fabulous.
Speaking of how you did your thing, great impression of a guy that's not you, by the way. What's going on with your house in Vallaki?
Ah, yes, my little escapade from what I do as Lord and Protector of these lands. You must understand, a man in my position has the trouble of not being able to go anywhere without being recognized, feared, respected, coveted. Sometimes it is such a burden to have gazing eyes from all corners as I simply walk the streets to inspect my land. It is for that very reason that I have an alter ego, if you will, that allows me to mingle with the common folk, learn what moves them, what is important to them.
I just meant, do you need it anymore?
I do agree that I sometimes take it too far, but it is somewhat of a hobby, if you will.
Does Brahm know this about you? Brahms? The
Heartbroken. He was absolutely heartbroken.
Brahm is a good man, and he does not know about this just yet. I trust that you haven't told him my little secrets.
I don't think we did.
No, we've told no one.
Good. He will see my alter ego soon enough and learn that he is perfectly safe and sound. I do not wish him to suffer. He is such a good cook.
So you do still need that house. Okay.
Needing is a big word, but it is a great place for me to move from, if you will. So yes, why do you ask, John Verenthal?
It seemed like a big house for... I mean, Brahms was all alone there. Maybe he could live there. I don't know.
Is Strahd eating?
Strahd is definitely eating and drinking. He's just joining in.
Excuse me, sorry. And John's gonna stand up and like reach for the strawberries in a way that like jostles and brushes and pushes against Morgantha.
You're pushing around an old lady. That's good.
Yes. Damn it,
That
yes.
is the vision that is happening here.
And I want her to glare at me angrily after this because...
And she does.
Yeah.
She does because, like, this is one of those things at a nice dinner table where everyone is pretending that and nothing is wrong. She can't full well do anything about that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And as I pull back, I accidentally tip over my wine glass on her.
She's got a big ass, like, wine stain on her otherwise beautiful dress. Because she's also dressed up for the occasion. Like, she's an elderly lady, like in an elderly lady form, of course. But she's dressed up for the occasion, and she's not got a big wine stain on there. It's not pretty.
My lord,
not gonna come out.
I assume you know everything that happens in your lands. But we have met, Morgantha. Did you know that?
I believe I have heard that before, but I prefer not to discuss business at the table for now. There is one matter, however, that I do like to bring to your attention. See, John reminded me of the fact that you have obtained property in my land. Have you not?
Is he talking about his house or Daskalus?
Daskalus. That is.
I'm talking to Casariel about like basically saying it aloud.
All right.
You talking about his house or Daskalus?
Pained is an interesting choice of words.
Cleared out, more like.
Gift from a friend, an old friend of ours.
He tried to take us to school, and that's not okay.
I will say this. The doctor seems to have done more than I have asked of him, and I want to clear the air with the three of you, as I know that you have history with him. He seems to have done more than I have asked of him, now that I learned of his laboratory and his experiments. He came to my land with a potion, promising me that he would be able to produce mass quantities of this so-called life water. As he described, it would rid my subjects of any illnesses and would help their mental stability. This sounded too good to be true, but as the doctor said, he wanted to help out free of charge. I helped him get set up in a mansion. You have beaten me to check up on him, and I must commend you on your decision of judgment. I am a staunch believer in the pursuit of medicine and science, but there are lines that we do not cross. The doctor has crossed those many times over.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember much of that whole thing. I think Escher was controlling me then.
I beg your pardon?
He has an alter
not
ego
told him?
as well. You know how you have physically, he's very similar. When he goes into a battle rage, his mind seems to blank.
Nothing
What?
should happen in his plans that he's not aware of.
Well, we don't know.
We owe him our full allegiance and respect.
What
He is
is
our
Escher's
liege lord.
reaction to that?
He's just sitting there sipping his wine, but give me a perception check.
Okay. I'm going to use a different die this time. That's not it. Oh, 19 plus 3, 22.
All right. He's sipping his wine, but even though he isn't sweating, you're noticing that he is discomforted.
I'm surprised. When I noticed you, Escher, I thought perhaps, my lord, you'd sent him to accompany us, to help us while we're here.
Escher is a loyal servant that helps me around the castle for certain personal affairs, if you will. There are times that I need to call upon him for... Well, I don't need to explain everything, of course, but he is a personal servant, if you will.
So would you say you're pulling his strings? He's going to look over at Escher.
But of course, he is my loyal subject. Are you not, Escher? And Escher just makes a bow and he says, of course, my liege. Anything for you.
We took care of the doctor very well.
I'm going to pull out the doctor's eye and put it on the table and say, so what did you want me to do with this again?
You don't have that on you.
Yeah,
Oh,
none
you're
of your
right.
equipment.
Everything's... Okay, I just think.
What was that,
We-
Carla?
We did dispatch of the doctor. I've actually had runnings in with him in Neverwinter as well. Again, science has gone too far. It was probably for the best that he did not get a hold of many of your subjects.
Perhaps.
Didn't he steal that potion from like that young sorcerer who gave us his?
Yes, made a wonderful article. A young man named Haynes stumbled upon a good potion recipe for, again, not sort of life-bringing water, but water that could enhance your ability. Not potions that could enhance your abilities, push them beyond what you should be able to do. It was incredible. Of course, it was coveted, and I needed help to get it back, but I, at the time, was in a little bit of trouble myself getting out of Neverwinter, so I sent our brave Silver Stars to go retrieve it, and, well...
Daskalo was so creepy that whole time. I think he licked like organs or something. It was...
Seems within his MO.
Well, it seems that you have now procured yourself a mansion, and I'm not sure if you're wondering, but in case you are, you've my permission to stay there for the time being, of course. You have one that's fair and square, so it is yours. The laboratory in the basement is also yours if you wish to use that. So if the pursuit of this potion is within your list of wishes, then feel free by all means.
No, I'm no potion master. I simply am very good with the spirits, the dead, though I do find that some of my training in regards to talking and being sort of charming has gone a little astray. I seem to have lost a bit of memory for that, and she's going to look at Morgantha while being in these lands, getting a little rusty.
And Morgantha just grins at you.
Yes, and if we could get that back, it would help us in our pursuit of the gem. So
Perhaps.
I actually don't remember that moment either.
Well, we won't talk about it at the dinner table, as we've been asked not to.
Not to discuss
but
business, of course, yes.
certainly, we understand ourselves. Do we not, Morgantha?
I've been losing a lot of time in this land.
Eat some chicken, John. Eat some chicken.
And as you continue to eat and drink while this conversation is going, you notice that the table is getting more empty and more empty, and you feel that you're nearing the end, possibly, of this dinner. And as the last bits of food on the plates are being emptied, Strahd looks at all the 8 of you at the table, and he says, I think that would conclude our dinner party for tonight, and I will say that I am glad that you could join us for dinner, all of you, of course. From what I believe, the weather is fine out tonight, and for the 3 of you, and he points at John, Casaria, and Carla, a carriage will be at the front gate. You will find your belongings in the carriage. It will take you to Vallaki. From there, I am sure that you can find your way to your place of residence. Nice choice, by the way, the mansion. I hope you can restore the mansion to its former glory. Alas, I am already taking up too much of your time. Before you go, though, I would like to reiterate that I will ask your mother, Casario, to meet you post-haste. When I have word of her, I will send out a messenger to let you know the date and time. Lastly, I would like to discuss one final matter. Morgantha, could you join me? Morgantha gets up with a wicked grin on her face, and she stands next to Strahd, holding her glass of wine and sipping from it, pretending to be aristocratic almost. It has come to my attention that you have caused certain trouble at the Durst windmill. This windmill is owned and operated by Morgantha and her daughters. And you see Morgantha pulling from her purse the deed to the windmill and forcing the words of Strahd that she indeed owns the windmill.
You just walk around with that?
You're welcome for that gift, by the way.
I have heard that you 3 attacked Morgantha as well as her daughters on unconfirmed allegations.
She turned me into a rat.
If what I heard is true, you have accused them of murdering children and putting them in pies, which would then be sold off to the general public. A most grievous accusation, of course. And you see Morgantha just smirking at the 3 of you with her chin raised. I understand tensions may rise in dire situations in my land, but I cannot have my subjects nor any visitors to my land take matters of judgment into their own hands like that. I hope I can get you to see my perspective as Lord Protector of these lands. He pauses for a moment and then looks at the 3 of you again and says, which might actually be an interesting hypothesis. You have passed judgment on Dr. Daskalu. Tell me, if you had truly had your way, if you were to sit on my throne, what judgment would you have passed? Would you have sentenced Morgantha and her children to death based on what little information you have, or would you have intervened and stopped it?
Well, we saw children in a cage upstairs.
Yes, we were in the cage ourselves after they tried to kill us and turned into night hags.
I do believe we stand by our judgment, though we did have to broker a deal for our own lives as well, my lord.
So you would have her head.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it shall be. He lashes out his hands to the side, and for a moment you see Morgantha standing motionless, her face troubled, trying to piece together what just happened. A thin red line starts to show in the middle of her neck as her head slowly slides forward and topples to the ground, along with her glass of wine. Her body and head both change back into her true form, that of a wicked bluish hag, her face still clinging to an expression of disbelief.
Is the wine stain still on her clothes?
It definitely is.
Sorry.
Strahd rises from his chair. As he does, Rahadin opens the door.
I also stand as he does, respectfully.
Stand and look over and look at the body of the hag.
It looks like a bloody mess. Oh. Strahd opens his arms and says, "Thank you once again for attending my little dinner. Of course, I do hope to see you again soon. Farewell and safe journey. I look forward to your return with my precious gem."
Thank you for having us.
Sariel will walk around the table this way, scoot the night hag out of the way with her foot, and then give a very, like graceful curtsy. My lord.
And Strahd will respond in kind by lowering his head at you. "Milady."
Excellent food. I'll see you again later. And he points at Escher. He starts walking out.
Perhaps we will.
Carla looks towards Strahd and gives him like a bow, and then she turns to Arena and she says, "If you ever need someone to talk to, feel free to contact us. It was lovely meeting you."
Yep. John sort of does a Silver Star salute at the door and then heads out.
As Lord Strahd said, your carriage awaits. It would be just outside the entrance.
Rahadin, did you make that food?
I am but a simple servant. I've only helped in getting it to the dining room.
Oh, I was going to say it was delicious. My compliments to the chef.
I'll be sure to pass it on.
As we're kind of coming out, what's in this corner here when Carla looks?
There's a statue.
Is it of? What does this sign say?
The statue itself looks like a large black metal statue. It's leaning on a sword. And the armor itself looks beautiful but unremarkable. There's no traits on it that would immediately indicate hey, this is this or that. For example, the armor that you've seen before with the wolf head, for example, does not look like anything like this armor.
Okay.
Before they head out, Sariel's going to just try to take Rahadi's hands if he'll let her.
Sure.
And she'll say, "Rahadi,
yes.
I don't know if you could, but if you can, when you see my mother again, will you tell her I miss her terribly, and that I will return with the gem?"
I am sure that my lord will be pleased, and when I see your mother before you do, I will be sure to pass on the message.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Please, the carriage is waiting.
As they start walking up, I'm gonna linger by the door just to look back and see what's the vibe of the party after we've left.
It's like an after dinner talk. There's a couple of people just drinking and whatnot, and it doesn't seem that unremarkable at all. It's just a couple of people having a final cup of wine before they return to their rooms, so to speak.
What was her name? Gwendolyn? Gwen DeVere?
Gwillem. Alexandra Gwillem. Yes.
Did she ever speak the entire time, or did she just eat?
She was remarkably quiet, and she ate very little.
I would like you to note that Carla did not eat a single thing that was put in front of her.
I ate for Carla and John.
Not trust that food.
I ate nothing. I drank.
Fair enough.
I ate for Carla, John, and Casario.
Noted.
And I just, a small bit of retconning, like, I imagine before the doors fully, close on them, Carla does, blow a kiss at the Vistani. She goes.
He will do that very horrible, catching it in the air and then putting it on his cheek kind of thing.
What's in his pocket? Save that
Just
for
watch
later.
someone get decapitated.
Smooth.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess that's one thing off
You
our
guys
list.
want to go to the carriage?
I think after
So as much as I'm proud to show this map, it doesn't have an outside just yet. So we'll have to accept
this is
the
beta
fact that
testing.
you're
I'm super psyched for this. This is so cool.
Oh yes,
Beautiful.
it's such a beautiful map, isn't it?
So beautiful.
Diamandi, you are truly a genius. It's insane.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't have an outside. It just has an incredible hallway leading out there. Beautiful.
The what do you call it? Organ and everything. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk towards the smaller exit, towards the courtyard, and then to the carriage. The carriage indeed bringing you back to the outskirts of Vallaki. And my good friends and listeners, that is where we end for today.
As
What?
as we're in the carriage, I'm like, oh, that's one thing on our list. Hags. I guess there's two more we have to deal with.
Ariel just starts crying. She
Fair.
just starts absolutely bawling.
And just from a technical standpoint, but I think you figured that, you got your equipment back, of course, you're basically back to your normal character sheet.
John's gonna comfort Casario, as friends do.
Fair.
Carla is writing vigorously.
For next episode, you will start on the outskirts of Vallaki. We can rule that as just being on the town square of Vallaki again, whatever you wish. We'll decide that next week. But that will indeed be next week. For now, I think my 3 players need some time to recuperate of everything that happened today.
Insane
Wow.
Did
episode.
not see that coming.
I didn't
Did
either.
not see that coming.
I was like, we're gonna spend the entire
Good.
time in the winery. We're gonna kill some druids. Maybe have a little bit of RP with the druids. Nope. We went flying.
That was a good session. All
That
right,
was awesome.
so we will see you next week with episode 24 of The Curse of Strahd, played by the Gilded Flask. I hope you guys like that. And if you do, if you're on a podcast or if you're on a YouTube or a Twitch, make sure to follow us on all the other channels. And we will see you next week. Next episode.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.